Welcome, one and all, to the live stream of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew, and as is usual, been joined by the rest of my crew here. So a big welcome to Jeff on the other side of the screen to me here. Bell, this time around, is in the opposite corner and swap place with Dave, who's now underneath me on the screen.
It's musical chairs. We're all going to see.
It's digital musical chairs. So there we go. Good to see you all here. You're right there, Bell. You looked a bit confused there.
I'm sorry. I'm just closing a couple of apps.
I went for a drink run during the credits and I made it back
You did
in
that
time.
when we opened a few drinks. It's all good. Hello, everyone. We've got a lot to get through, as always. So just get in the comments and say hi if you're here. But yeah, Michael's here. Other Michael's here. Good to see you both. Good evening, everyone. Good to see you guys. Jump in, say hi. Got a lot to get through, as always. So we have the backyard banger tonight is Binary Pulse, Under Granite Skies, as assigned to Jeff there. We have the Builder Collection, which we're doing 85, and so we're going to go to May 85 this year. Dave has the Something Different game tonight. I've got the Global Grooves, which I've put forward. Tremonti, the end will show us how, and Bell will have to go through and pick an album for us all to go through next week as well. So hopefully that's all been prepared, because we've had a bit of an interesting time behind the scenes here getting things prepped tonight across the board.
I'm ready.
It's an off week tonight. No battles, no nothing allowed to worry about. So we're going to play another round of Metal Mogul, and we're going to choose albums for our next season of King of the Riff as well, which is all to do with all Australian releases. That is what is coming up later on tonight as we go through things there. So question of the day. Oh, by the way, before I do that, Jody, of course, as always, says hello to everyone, including you guys.
Hey, Jody.
Everyone says hello back. I don't know if she can hear anyone because she's conked out and going to bed. It's going to be one of those nights tonight.
We need a THRS t-shirt with Hi Jody underneath. That'd be cool.
I should do that. I also need a new climate, because Queensland up here is like getting down to 0 degrees tonight. My car handle is actually iced shut this morning. It's like, wow, okay. Didn't think
I thought it was cold here.
Yeah. It's actually getting like 0 degrees overnight here, which is like, wow, I'm in the middle of Queensland and it's getting to 0 degrees. So work that one out, folks.
Not even that cold here.
Yeah, well, we're feeling it up here. Different one. What else? So there's that. But the question of the day, as we move along, as we always have one here, is, thanks to Jeff for the prompt here, what band or bands peaked with their debut release? What band or bands peaked with their debut? It was all downhill from there. Not necessarily bad. They peaked with the debut.
Oh, shit.
I know. But there's more. There's a few in there. If you think about it, so get in the comments and let us know.
I don't think actually.
Kat's here saying hello all. Good to see you, Kat. Saying Karen, hello everyone. Good to see you. Shannon and Ryan Padgett, good to see you. Hey everyone. Hi to my daughter Stevie, who should be in bed. Well, hello to Stevie as well. And to everyone out there as well.
Hey, Steve.
I'm glad we're getting the little ones out here watching the show, which is good. And Guru is here. Greetings, rockers across the plane. Good to see you as well. As always, good to get the regulars in. Alrighty. So the question of the day is, what bands peaked with their debut release? And we're going to move on now to the Hot Rocks part of the show as we go through things here. Just realized I forgot something while I'm doing this. I'm going to quickly try and drag up the file, which is, of course, just the way I've got to do things. Because where is it? That's the one I want. All right, I'll get to that. It's all good. I'll get to that in a moment. What is going on? Okay, Jeff's back. All right, Jeff will be back shortly. So I'm going to quickly recap the Hot Rocks and Tastemakers and that sort of stuff, and we'll get Jeff back here in a moment. But what we've got here is the new songs first and foremost coming into Hot Rocks that are in Tastemakers that are there now. It got updated the other night. The new songs and nominated by. So we got Crown with Waiting for You as put forward by Jolie. Vinny put forward Daughtry with The Day I Die. Michael C put Deathless Legacy, Get On Your Knees. I put forward Fuck the Fitzroy Doom Scene with I Am the Master. Elliot put forward Glenn Hughes Chosen. Kat put forward Hailstorm Everest, and Michael G put forward Voice of Bassaprot with Renegade Sheep, which got us a few chuckles on Sunday as we were going through the results there of that one. I've added to get us up to number 10, I've just added a few songs here. So Airborne, in case you missed it, dropped a new single called Gutsy. That's out now. Arabella and the Heist out of Melbourne released their latest single, Ruckus. That's in there. And Cicada Stone released a new acoustic song, Long Way Down. That's on there as well. So those are the additions to Tastemakers this week, which are there. Well, here we go. Vinny, evening gang. Hope you're well. I finally got around watching Sunday's Patreon stream this afternoon. Would happily discuss Renegade Ship and Goats for 2 hours. There we go. You missed out. You missed a hell of a show. That was a lot of fun behind the scenes. That's that. That was you would have been at home, I think. But anyway,
at home with the sheep, dude.
and the goats and the barnyard and everything else in between. It's like a Volbeat album meets Old MacDonald. So anyway,
in a pornography setting.
Bell just went straight there. Awesome. All right.
Why not?
And Kat's gone, Vinny, we missed your input. So there we go. Some chatter going on back and forth in there. All righty. On to the songs that did make it, or not quite, but we'll go through the top 10 in a second. But the ones that didn't quite make it but got some votes was Jolie with Stir It Up, didn't quite get there. Malevolence with Salt the Wound. Spawn Ascension and Dead Eyes, Thanks for Nothing, finally fell out after a few weeks in there as well. So that's what didn't quite make the cut. Coming in at number 10 this week is Rock's Ferry, their latest, played. It's on their second week this week, was number 9 last week, now in its second week at number 10. So it's just sort of slipping, but still hanging on. Number 9, new track from Psychroptic with Architects of Extinction. That made it to number 9. Number 8 was Shiraz Lane with Dangerous. Was number 8 last week, and it's held on, so it's just sort of sitting in the same place. Number 7, in its 4th week now. Nesta was 7 last week, 7 again, so it's hanging on to the same spot. Cool. Number 6 is East York with He Doesn't Deserve You. That was a new addition to the playlist tonight. Coming up next, though, is a not new addition. It was number, I think, 4 the week before. No, number 3, sorry, the week before. But we didn't get to it because of the way we did Hot Rocks and Tastemakers last week a bit differently. But it is the first news, or the highest placed news song we haven't reviewed yet. So coming in number 5 is Calva, Louise with their track, Aimless. Now, as with everything, there are links in the description box as we go through things, but I will share them in the chat for those watching live. But without any further ado, this is Calva Louise, Aimless. Like I said, came in number 5 this week, but it was the 4th highest news song in the playlist. This particular song is the latest in the UK band, is a precursor to the upcoming 4th studio album, Edge of the Abyss, which is set for release on July the 11th to 2025. Frontwoman Jess Alanich describes Aimless as a reflective catharsis of human communication, delving into the complexities of interpersonal understanding and the fragility of personal beliefs. The song's lyrics oscillate between English and Spanish, emphasizing the band's multicultural roots, adding depth to the thematic exploration going on. This song was put forward by Ula, made it to number 5, like I was saying, was assigned to Jeff. So without any further ado, Jeff, take it away.
This song should have been called Pointless. This is oh my god, this is fucked up. Aimless.
Wow.
Yeah. Would you like to borrow my?
I loved it.
Wow.
Yeah, I loved it. No, oh my, I struggled with this one. I really did. So this song, like when I watched the video, listened to it, then I watched the video, and I was just like, what the fuck am I watching here? It was just like. And then the vocals, it got me. It was like very similar to like that Pisces song. What's that? Ginger. Yeah. So when she started singing, she started doing the. I'm like, holy fuck! Here we go. All right, this is it. Yeah, because I was hearing the, and I'm like, where's this shit coming from? I don't know. Like, what did she have to eat? What did she have for lunch? This is not good. No, I really, I struggled with this. I really did. I was wanting it to be great, so I didn't write anything because I thought if I write something, I'm just going to be cruel. I'm just going to come out of the gate and just give my feelings. Yeah, I struggled with this one. I really did. I'm really sorry whoever put it forward. I tried. I really did, and I'd be really curious as to what everyone else thinks of it. But for me, this is mediocrity at best. I gave this a 2 shots.
Ooh, shit. Okay, we're coming in with a bang already. All right, well, we don't do the opinions. We just do the thumbs up, thumbs down sort of thing. So where are we at with this one? I'm going to say I was neutral on this one. Dave, thumbs down. Bell,
shit.
thumbs up. Yeah.
Really?
Responses. Wow.
Yes.
All right. Wow. Well, because you try to get things positive, you want to quickly give like a positive rebuttal to Jeff?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, Jeff, you seem to like everything and you didn't like this, and I'm fucking glad to hear you critique something in a not so positive way.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I'm just, well, it just makes me think, well, you do like everything, and I love that you're liking most things that we put forward. So that's cool. But it just means that you're being honest in your like and now your dislike. But to the song, look, at first I wasn't sure. On my first listen, I'm like, I don't know, are they trying too hard? But are they trying to be too edgy? But then I thought, well, musically, I actually liked it. Vocally, it was more the vocals that I wasn't sure about. But I thought they're just going for it. They're being, it's sort of like the musical or heavy musical version of like interpretive dance. You know, interpretive dance kind of, you just do all this weird shit, and they're kind of just doing that. Right? But I didn't. I'm like, I don't know if I like it, but then I thought, well, I don't hate it, so maybe I do like it. And the more I listened to it, the more I thought, fuck it, it's cool, it's different, and I like that they're doing something different. So that's why I liked it.
It was fucking horrible. Vocals for shit. No, it's music that's like the rest of it. How the fuck do you like this shit?
Yeah, no, I was in the middle on this one, but we'll keep moving. I was in the middle on that one, so I was confused by it. I was not like, okay, that one got me surprised. Yeah.
No, music like this is just a waste of fucking time. It's fucking horrible.
That's the word, pointless. You got it.
Exactly. You summed up with that one word. It was fucking pointless.
Oh, here we go. Well, let's leave it to Vinny to have the final word on this song because he's gone, I enjoyed Calva, especially in vocally. It sounds like it hit the back of a diaphragm.
Yeah.
That's a nice nod to Sunday, Vinny.
Yes,
well played.
Vinny.
Very, very well played. And Terry saying hi, everyone. Good to see you, Terry.
Hey, Terry.
All right, I'm going to keep us moving along. Number 4 this week was Sabaton Templars, which we did cover last week, but that was where that was at now. It's in the second week. Number 1 last week, number 4 this week, which brings us up to number 3 this time around, which is the latest from 6th Century, which again, link in the comments, but also the description box. This is 6th Century, Demon Inside, coming in number 3 this week. It's the latest from a band we get to know quite well, courtesy of Kat. 6th Century have been carving their own little sort of kingdom out since 2018 and are certainly on the rise. We've covered and enjoyed a lot of their work up to date. And it seems we aren't alone in enjoying this band because it did go to number 3 pretty quickly this week. This is the latest single from the Pennsylvania band. No word on yet anything more like an EP or an album or anything like that, but Kat, maybe correct me if I'm wrong on that. But as always, she put forward this. She's championing this band and getting them here and other places like Phil and Tish over in South Australia as well. So all that said, let's get into it. Belle, it was assigned to you. So, no, it wasn't. It was Dave. It was Dave. Sorry.
Yeah, this one's mine.
I don't know why my name. I was concerned for a second. Then. I normally do. Anyway, Dave, I got it right in the end. It was assigned to you. So please take over before I fuck up something else.
Yeah. I heard a couple of songs from these guys now. They've got a modern approach to the production, which I feel a lot of young bands feel they have to do now to appeal to a young audience to sound fresh. They've also got that old school sense of songwriting, which thankfully shines through, or the excessive production. The song starts off with a digital sequenced intro, which I waited out. And once that song actually starts, it's obvious they can play, they can write, they can perform. Lyrics are pretty good. The singer's got a good voice. It's just the way that it's produced. It really stops me from fully enjoying this. Okay. I'm getting old because I don't like the new way of doing things. Personally, this would be a lot better if it was stripped down a little bit and just kept as a natural sounding song. Not as many layers to the production. There's a synth melody throughout that gets really fucking annoying. Take that away, it would actually be a good song. But you know, it's not bad, it's not horrible, but pretty good. I have heard better from this band, so I'm still uncertain about this one, but I gave it 7 shots overall. I will give them credit for putting some information on their Spotify bio. So well done, you win.
And you win there.
Yeah,
it's getting harder and harder to find, which we'll get into some of those as we go through tonight as well. All right, thumbs up, thumbs down, folks. How we go this one? I like this one. Thumbs up from me. So yep. There we go. There's some love, Cat, all around overall. We'll just see how we go. But Jim Morrissey is here and saying, yeah, Sabaton, yes, we liked that song last week. That was a very cool one.
That's my buddy Jim is in the hospital.
Oh, okay. Hope you get well soon, man. I have heard about that, so fingers crossed you're on the mend as soon as you can. Genuinely, that's not a lot of fun, so please get home as soon as you can. Alrighty, next up is Electric State, What Do You Want? Now, this is the one that goes to Belle, so I'm going to get that right in advance. Came in number 2 this week. Time to bring things back to our home shores here because this is the latest offering from the Perth band called Electric State. They formed originally in 2019, if I'm correct. This award-winning outfit have definitely impressed us in the past, especially with the album Green Machine back in 2022, which Dave and I reviewed back then. After that album, they released one single in 2023. Yeah, we did one single in 2024, and this is their first new single in 2025. Dave, we cover a lot of music over the years. This one was actually sent in. Yeah, I know. Sent in by the band and added as such tastemakers on the back of that. From there, it went up and took number 2 spot. Not bad for just a random addition track. So, assigned to Bell. I'll get it right. Over to you.
Okay. Yeah, these guys, this song at least made me think it was like REM cross Nirvana, but much better than both of those bands combined.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was good. So lyrics, here's your song, you fucking hater. I feel like, I don't know, the song wasn't written for me, but I feel like I should be thinking message received, given, I'm such a fucking hater a lot of the time. So, thanks,
Just
guys.
missed the word hack in there. But anyway.
Did you give that to me deliberately?
No, it was all randomly assigned.
These are random. Yeah.
I'll video it next time for you if you like.
I believe you.
Yeah, you hater. Anyway.
Yeah, fucking hater. Thank you very much. I liked it. It was moody, edgy, vocally intelligible, lyrically to the point. Grunge is not my go-to genre, really. I generally find it a bit dreary, and these guys inject so much edge into their sound that I'd hardly put this in the dreary category, which is fine by me. So yeah, Electric State seem to have taken a known sound and sort of made it unique to them, which it's cool. Top marks. Yeah, sometimes it's not the complexity of the song that makes it good. In this case, it's the perfect choice of the chord progression that really this appealed to me. It's like a build progression, and then they come back down and resolve. And yeah, it's just the way that they structured this whole thing was great. Good dynamics as well. Singer can wail with the best of them, and the lyrics are like venom. I don't think the singer was particularly happy with his subject when he wrote this song. Whew,
yes.
Sucks to be that person. Yeah, so another great band from WA.
Yep.
Lots of good music coming from over there. So yeah, 8 shots for me.
Nice. Cool. All right.
Yep.
Do the rounds. I'm getting 2 thumbs up. I enjoy this one quite a lot. There. Oh, Jeff in the middle.
Cool.
Jeff in the middle. All right. We're getting some mixed feedback this week. This is all right. This is cool. That's the fun part of the show, people. We got to know you're being honest.
Bell,
go through it.
I got a bone to pick with you, Bell.
Uh-oh.
I like everything. I got 3 fucking words for you. Electric fucking wizard.
What? Hey, you can't seriously compare this to
how he all ripped on that album is what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? I'd listen to Electric Wizard over that Calva Louise shit. That's for sure.
The thing is, though, Jeff, I was complimenting your.
Oh, I know you were.
The fact that you were being negative towards that.
Well, I don't like to be negative, so I'll try to find the good in
goes
everything
unpunished
if I can. So anyway, let's move on. I'm sorry.
No, it was a good thing that you were being completely honest.
Oh God, I'm loving this. Vinny's just gone. Your perimenopause is on display, Jeff. So there we go. That's from Vinny.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, fuck you, cunt. All right.
But he has said Electric State is growing on me, which is cool. And hard music, Aussie here as well. G'day, all everyone as well. Good to see you as well. Alrighty, one song left in this part of the show, and that is the number 1 song for this week, which I'll put in the comments and description. It's comments now. It's in the description box as always. This is Brandon Lake with Sevens. It's the latest from the American artist and is taken from his new album, King of Heart, set for release on June 13, 2025. That album will be his 5th studio album, and this is his 4th single from that release. This song, however, marks something of a creative shift from his, according to people that follow him, because while he's always been on the spiritual rock side of things, this time he's gone into a more apocalyptic thing, leaning heavily into the book of Revelation for this particular song here. So this is something of a call to arms. After being nominated by Jolie, this song went to #1 pretty firmly this week, and as such, I got the random assignment. This is a new discovery for me, much like Calva Louise. I'd never heard of that one earlier tonight either, so let's dive in. From the start, this is one of those ones where it's very, very slick and had me thinking a bit of Muse. That was my first sort of touchstone points. Like this got me reminding me of Muse because the kids listen to that. Very clean, very crisp, very modern. It's quite polished, but it serves the song overall with that sound being the way it is. What is it, Belle? You called it Zoomer mixing, whatever it was?
Zoomer style production, or Zoom, I don't know. That was
like that. Yeah, it was something that I'll have to go back and revisit. That's your Zoomer production. But anyway, this has a massive hook, big energy. The mix is big and punchy, which has a whole thing, while also being quite laid. Instantly catchy in all the good ways for a song like this. That said, if you aren't a fan of this sound and style, this won't do anything for you. So I'm curious on the back of early conversations, and I'm very curious how this one's going to go in the thumbs up, thumbs down after this. It's got a cool riff, nice guitar work. It does feel a little more studio built than organic, which, for the style, it fits and serves the song nicely. It does have a good build to it as well. There's a good crescendo and payoff. The way it sort of dips away and goes quiet and then comes away to the final part there was very well done. It's nicely composed in that. And it does, like I said, while it does lean into the studio, you can also imagine it going very well live. Bands like Muse can pull it off. You can quite comfortably see these guys doing it as well. From that, this starts off as like a semi-acoustic kind of a feel, and then it goes in a very punchy close. From that build from beginning to end is very, very cool. I did mention it before, but the way this song just thumps into you is just another element that makes sure it stays with you. So it's got the hook, the energy, that beat that goes with it. It's got this sort of heartbeat pulse all the way through, which sort of makes it sort of get your attention. Lyrically, I've got to give it some credit. It's well crafted, tells its story, does all those things. The apocalyptic themes are well done, but also shrouded enough that if you're not completely enamored with the lesson of the song, then it can still get through to you if you want it to. I think the only fall down to that part is the very quiet bit that I mentioned before, lyrically speaking, before the grand finale. It might be laid on a little bit thick there, but it is unapologetic in its message, and none of that is a shock when you listen to the song. All that said, it begins and ends strongly, has a great middle, and does everything you want for the genre and the style overall. It's also while being pretty clever. The hook in this is more than enough for most people to simply just enjoy it. I think there's one that certainly sort of works its way into you, probably more than you might think, to be honest. Very sleek, very modern. So if that doesn't suit your feel and vibe, that might not get you. But I think that for what it does for this style of music, it hits the sweet spot. I'm going to give this one 8 shots. I think it was very, very well done, very clever, very, very sharp. So let's do the rounds. Thumbs up, thumbs down. How'd we go? Middle, up, middle to down. So there we go. I knew it would get feedback.
Boring.
Okay.
Boring.
Well, I have to say, Andrew, you need to listen to more Muse because Muse shit all over this.
I said it reminded me of.
I'd agree with that.
Oh, okay, well.
Most bands would shit all over this, to be honest.
Well, to be fair to me, Belle, my exposure to Muse is through our daughters. That's my exposure to Muse. So I'm not really following them. And I think I reviewed one album over the years and didn't like it, but that was a while ago. But I could be wrong. I could be thinking of the wrong band too. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I've reviewed that much over the years, not funny. So we'll see what happens. Alrighty. Dave forgot the green machine earlier tonight. I'm forgetting everything else in between tonight. All right, let's get into a quick bit of hard rock happenings. Not a lot of news to get through tonight, but we'll try and get through this one. As always, we're going to start off with some sad ones, as always. Now, the news came out today that Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys passed away at the age of 82. No reason given why. I don't think anyone needs the reason why, but again, it's one of those things where even though it's not technically our wheelhouse, I personally have been a big fan of the Beach Boys ever since I was a little kid. And the mark that Brian Wilson has left on music and music history cannot be denied. So I think that, regardless of taste and whatever else have you, the man is an absolute legend and a creative genius, and all the best to those that loved and knew him, as we do for all these things. And on that note, more sad news on the local front. And Dave, you'll hopefully remember Steve Esler. I'm not sure if you will, but he was always at our Whole Lot of Love gigs. He was one of the members of Cunt Squad, as well as he played in Hobbs Angel of Death and Velvet Hammer and that as well. Yeah, he was always with us at Whole Lot of Love, and he passed away the other day. I'm not sure of the particulars and all that stuff, but yeah. That one's a big one for the local scene. So raising a glass to Steve, and to all those who knew and loved him, because that's a local legend down. He was an absolute gem of a bloke. So we are genuinely saddened to hear of this news, and just want to pass on our best wishes to everyone that knew and loved him. So yeah, that's more sad news there. There's never an easy segue. I'm going to move on to the positive side of the coin with a couple of new things here. So, as I prefaced earlier on, Fuck the Fitzroy Doom Scene are back. They've been quiet for quite some time. Their third studio album, Salvation, is on the way. And as I've just mentioned previously, their new lead single, I Am the Master, is out now. If you want to hear it, check it out. Tastemakers playlist. And Battlesnake, another Aussie band, have released their new album, Dawn of the Exaltants and the Hunt for the Shepherd. That album is out now. It was released last week, I believe. So a big shout out to them there. Alrighty. New releases time out tomorrow. We've got Ashen with Chimera, Archivist with Waving at the Sky. A highlight for me is Buck Cherry, Roar Like Thunder. Byzantine with Harbingers is there. You got Chris Caffery doing 20 years of the Music Man. Fairyland with The Story Remains. Fallujah with Zenotaph. Gorguts with Considered Dead. Hex Vessel, a band we have covered before. They have released their new album coming out tomorrow is Nocturne. Got Insania with The Great Apocalypse. Iron Mind with Test of the Iron Mind. King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard, a hit and miss band for us, but they're productive as well. They've got their new album Phantom Island coming out. Malvada, self-titled. We've got Metallica Load re-release tomorrow. We've got Saxon with Eagles Over Hellfest, a live album coming out tomorrow as well. And then finally, Psy, I Saw the World's End. That's another one coming out tomorrow as well. All righty. Let's see. I've got some comments here. Michael says, I've seen Muse many times over the years. They are great live. So there you go. And other Michael, why do you guys chat back to back? Dave, you're 100% on point. Overproduced songs for the sake of it detracts from the sound immeasurably. So there you go.
Thank you. I'm not alone. Thank you.
No, you're not alone. I
just
agree,
because you can just doesn't mean you fucking should press every button that you have.
We've had We've had this argument in different contexts, Dave, but you know my old saying, less is more. It applies to that.
Yeah,
it really does. I'm starting to fucking understand it. Not with playing. If you play well, let that shine through with a natural recording, but don't cover it with every fucking effect you have in your rack. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Unless it's flanger, and then Dave would go for it.
You're gonna fucking fall off your chair later on, dude.
All right. Well, let's see what happens.
I don't
Dave does it best anyways. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Another comment popped up. Vinny says, that's what I kept telling my ex, Dave. Oh, boy.
What, more flanger?
More flanger or more playing? I'm not sure which. That could apply to anything, to be honest.
Less effects?
Less effects.
I bet you it was something to do with a rack. Tell me, Vinny.
Because you can push a button doesn't mean you should. Maybe I don't know, but I don't know.
Upstage by device, dude.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's get on to the backyard banger portion of the show tonight. And this one around, we have changed things up as we move into backyard banger. Now we're going to go through. We have a list of. Sorry, it's something to do there. This one now. What we've done now is we've gone through and we've compiled a list of Aussie bands that release them, and then the ones that go with the lowest play count or follower count are the ones that get bumped to the top of the list to try and give a bit of love to bands that haven't got as much love as other ones out there, trying to make this one a really sort of underground sort of hidden gem kind of prospect here. So this week's backyard banger assigned to Jeff is Binary Pulse with Under Granite Skies. The title track is the reference in the comments and description, folks. 12 tracks, 56 minutes. This is the debut album under this name for the Melbourne band formerly known as Flynn Effect. Released March 2025, independently, self-produced by the band, but mastered by Forrester Savell, if I'm correct. 2 singles have been released from this one so far in the title track and Voyager. We first came across this band under their previous name when they jumped in super, super last minute to fill in one of those previously mentioned Whole Lot of Love gigs. They jumped on like the day of, which was absolutely remarkable. So they jumped in, save us, and so ever since then I've had a soft spot for them, kept my eye on what's going on. But yeah, so since then, I've been sort of, definitely keeping an eye on. So when I saw that to go through and change the name and a few things there, I was like, okay, well, make sure we bookmark that. And then saw they dropped the album, added it to the playlist, and then we made the change, and off we go. They've just dropped this one at the beginning of the year, or March, I should say, and they're already chipping away at album number 2 under this name, which is really, really cool, which would be, I think, their 4th or 5th album overall as a band in general. But anyway, this one is going to be interesting. Let's give it to Jeff, and let's get stuck in.
All right. So the album Under Granite Skies is a brilliant but flawed debut album from the Melbourne-based band formerly known as Flynn Effect. Released March 7th, 2025, so just a couple months back. Under Granite Skies actually is a musical tour de force. So there's some praise. Look, the album is divided into 12 songs, including one cover of REM's The End of the World as We Know It. which is an unusual reimagining of that song. And fans of REM's work will definitely recognize it, but they may also appreciate the band's take on the song, while others may take umbrage with the band's artistic changes. And now, based on our recent hot topic discussion, I think we all know which side of the fence that I'm going to land on.
Yeah, same for
Oddly enough, however, in this case, I actually prefer the band's approach here. Their interpretation and heavy-handedness, I think it was refreshing. It's unusual, but it works well. And I applaud them for turning what I consider a turd into something that is much more enjoyable and infinitely more listenable than the original. So good on you guys.
REM fan. But yeah, so Jeff, what you're saying is you can polish a turd. So
yes. Bravo.
That was brilliant.
Perfect. That's brilliant. All right.
Sorry.
No, it's great. Thank you. Now, with the album's overall sound, one can't help but be taken in by the amazing melodies woven into the lyrics and vocalized by Tamina Kavanova, I believe her name is.
Yep.
The album is chock full of harmonies, melodies, riffage, and this is where the band, I think, shines best. Its strongest point, but I also believe that that's its weakest point as well. Let me explain while I cough.
Yeah, considering the previous polishing conversation, that might not be a good thing. But anyway,
no, yeah, cough. All right. Now, make no mistake, Tamina's voice is hauntingly beautiful. She has a dynamic range to her voice that few can match. Throughout the album, I could hear other vocalists' influences here. So, in particular, there's a vocalist by the name of Charlotte Wessels, is formerly of the band Delane. And now, whether or not Charlotte is a known influence, I can't say, but for my money, there's similarities here. Tamina has a brilliant voice that complements the band's musical direction, but for me, this is where I have my point of contention with the album as a whole. In my opinion, this is a serious case of, oh, what could have been.
Okay.
While her vocalists are fantastic tonally, there are far too many times where her overall pitch is actually off. Now, we're not talking by massive amounts. We're talking maybe just a semitone here and there, but it's enough that I can hear it, and it sort of takes me out of the album. And it's a shame because I think it detracts what could have been otherwise a perfect album. Make no mistake, I normally don't advocate for this sort of thing, but I feel that this is one instance where a little bit of pitch correction could have actually been used to great effect. Either that, or if it's a bridge too far for some people, maybe the band needs to tune a little bit more to her voice. But look, this may sound callous and as a rebuke of the band overall, but it's not.
Constructive.
Yes, it is constructive. So not in the slightest. I'm not picking on the band at all.
No,
I think humbly that if the band probably could have benefited from this approach, but I actually have to applaud them for specifically not doing it, and I'll explain why.
Yep.
While I believe the choice, I think it was deliberate not to do it because you can hear it, and so if I can hear it, they can hear it. And so if you listen to the other instruments, they were mixed perfectly. Okay. And to good effect. So there's no shortage of production on this album, as far as the rest of the band is concerned. So I think that shows a rare maturity and a side of the band that is sorely lacking in the music industry of today. And forgive me for using my artistic freedom in this review, but it's almost as if the band is saying, this is us, warts and all. We're not going to candy coat anything. What you hear is what you get. Take us or leave us. And so that's kind of how I interpret it. I could be completely off, but that was my take on it. And I think it's a shame that I had to even mention this in the fact, because I think in many ways I'm actually torn on this thought, because had they actually went down this road, on one hand, I think it would have ingratiated myself, the band, for me on a higher level. But part of me is glad that they didn't, because I think it's refreshing in this era of overproduction saturation heard on just about everything that comes out these days, literally from countless bands. I think if it was a conscious decision, it's a level of fearlessness of being completely comfortable in their own skins that we rarely see anymore. And if so, many bands could be wise to take a page of the Binary Pulse's playbook. Now, I want to be very clear here. No part of the band's musicianship is ever called into question by me. It's comprised of excellent vocals, guitar, bass, drums, by the aforementioned vocalist by the name of Tamina, by the way. We've got Jesse Higson, Matthew Besterwich, and Taylor Douglas rounding out the musicians in the band. Just figured I'd mention everyone since I mentioned her. It's only fair. Now, I have to add, there is a strong keyboard synth vibe that's going on, and the occasional piano influence heard here. Now, in my research, I was unable to find out who was playing them, but
I think
it's there.
Tamina was doing the key stuff. Yeah,
that could be. I would be remiss not to at least mention it, that it is there. Overall, as an album, Under Granite Skies is a testament to the 4 musicians that make up the band. The name of the band, Binary Pulse, is very much rooted in science and our universe and, astronomy and all that sorts of things. And you can't help but feel the band is exploring those values and mysteries of what's out there by the music that they're putting out today. So what they produced here is nothing short of a marvel. And while the album may contain a few questionable choices, as I mentioned previously, depending on your point of view, the album should be applauded for both being original and starkly contemporary and thought-provoking, something that many bands could actually learn from. The album actually serves as the perfect balancing act for their artistic musical talents while being a musical passport which attempts to take the listener on a thoughtful journey. And that is what music is actually supposed to do. So bravo. This is an excellent album from an excellent band. I give it 9 shots.
Wow. Cool. There you go. Nicely done.
Good review.
Alrighty. Yeah, nice review. Well done, man. I enjoyed that quite a bit. We'll all give a brief little reply to that one. Dave, you got any thoughts on Binary Pulse?
Yeah, this is really far from what I usually listen to. So it's really hard for me to come up with an objective angle to review this because it's not terrible. I can hear like people would like this, but it's not something I would choose to listen to on purpose. I don't know whether it's good or not. It's a question of taste, and this is mostly slow to mid-tempo, lots of programmed intros, which sets the mood and sticks to this feel, and it's very same, and it's it's done well. The opening track has this building female vocal with interesting lyrics, and that bit's cool. But you got this funky drum beat, partly programmed, partly played, and it doesn't mesh. It's like those mashup songs you hear on YouTube. I mean, that's probably the part of alternative metal where they're doing different things and putting it together. But to me, it's just, what am I listening to? Which part? It doesn't gel. It's just conflicting. There's a few songs like that. Fool's Gold Mine starts with this atmospheric, moody vibe that continues throughout the song. Then there's this heavy, chunky, distorted guitar riff that comes in and it goes. And if nothing else, it's unique. There's nobody else really doing stuff like it. But because of that, it's hard for me to get into the feel of this album. So points for originality. I mean, everyone's doing the same thing, but it doesn't gel in my head. The song In Pieces, when I got up to that song, there's a lyric, "We're all afraid." I'm like, hang on. I feel like I heard this before. So I scrolled back a few songs and went back to the song Higher, and there's a lyric, "We're all scared." Like, one or the other. Don't put both tracks on the album because you're doing the same thing, basically. We're all afraid, we're all scared. Dude, it's too much, and there's quite a lot of songs on this album anyway, so it's just, I've heard this before. While this is not for me, I'm probably going to remember this album because it is unique. So points for originality. They are good at what they do, and I'm sure there's a massive audience. So Fool's Gold Mine was a pretty cool song overall, but I give it 6 out of 10. It's not horrible, it's just not to my taste.
Yeah, no, all good, all fair, all good points. How'd you go, Belle?
Yes, I thought it was a cool band name and a cool album title as well. I got kind of a sciencey sci-fi, but
Yeah.
I felt more like computery rather than space. Binary pulse kind of got me thinking about binary. 1122. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
But yeah.
0011.
Or
Yeah,
001.
That's what a binary pulse is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, these kind of the first few songs I was thinking, because it's quite, mellow, maybe not the word, but it's sort of like a slower pace. They have a slower pace to their music. I was thinking if Coldplay came out, which I think they did recently, but anyway, like they'd be a good support act, like a Aussie support act for Coldplay. I think they'd be really good. Yeah. They have more intensity than Coldplay though. Coldplay is fucking boring. I can't stand Coldplay. But anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
You're not alone there. Yeah.
But I just mean, it'd be great exposure for them. And they would still fit. I thought there was pretty good dynamics throughout the album. Even though it was a more sedate kind of listen to what I normally listen to anyway. Which is good because like when they push things up, there was like a big wall of sound and then they'd sort of pull it back. And when they did that, it was like, oh, okay, good. Let's kind of keep going. I thought the mix, I know, Jeff, you praised the mix, but I thought it was lacking a little bit. I thought the vocals were pushed a little bit too loud. And then other things that I wanted to hear, like the guitar solos. I thought the guitar solos, there weren't too many, but they were quiet. And these are just my little
relatively brief as well by comparison. Yeah,
they were brief. They weren't shredding or anything. Which, wouldn't have suited this stuff anyway. But I would have liked to have heard them though. And then other features. Otherwise, it was mixed pretty well. Like the Stranger Things style kind of synth sounds, which were cool. They were just sitting perfectly. So they did a good job there. Well produced overall, I thought. And when you were talking about the vocals, Jeff, I actually sort of had some notes here, and again, like I'm trying to be constructive here. I think the singer has a really great vocal style, a natural ability, and an ear for choosing really good melodies to her song. The song she's singing, but I think she could probably benefit from some coaching if she's not already, just to kind of just tighten up a few things in her. And I think most professional singers do that anyway through the course of their career.
You have to.
So if she's not already, she probably is. I don't know, but But it kind of bothered me at first, but everything you were saying about her vocals, like I think, well, maybe it's good they're not auto-tuning her or kind of just covering up her.
I'm sure
I agree. I like it the way
natural, and like probably 9 out of 10 singers would actually sound like that if they weren't tweaked in production. So
everyone uses it.
So I
mean, especially these note choices too. These note choices aren't easy to sing.
They're long, they're long sustained notes that she was delivering.
Oh yeah, she's a great singer.
Some interesting singing tonal shifts too, which makes it more challenging to get right.
A bit of gymnastics there. So praise to her for that and the band, I suppose. So it bothered me at first, but then once I started thinking about it and sort of just kind of like, as the album progressed, I was just appreciating kind of the whole thing, I guess. So lots to like about it. Maybe a little too sedate for my taste personally. But plenty to like about it. And I know that there'll be people out there that, this is their pace. So they'll hopefully they find their fans. I'm sure they will.
I'm a fan.
Yep. Favorite tracks, Fool's Gold Mind, cool. And I did also like their take on The End of the World as We Know It. I thought it was fucking way better than the original.
No shit, it was. Yeah,
it's very cool. Really liked it. I'll give it about a 7.
Okay, cool. This one, it is an interesting release. There's a bit of genre bending about it. You know, that's from the start. But though there's an almost sort of pop element to this sonically and in like some of the synth stuff. But for me, it blends into an almost progressive metal kind of weird melting pot.
Yeah.
There's not many doing this exact style, which I thought from the start you get this initial impact of finding something new and unique, which I thought was pretty cool. Loaded with melody. I think production-wise, it sounds wonderful from top to bottom. Lots of layering, but the wall of sound is really well balanced, and I love how the vocals cut through. It's a pretty dry mix on the vocal overall compared to a lot of other bands in the world would do. And so I thought that cut through nice, and I actually liked her tone, and I actually liked her delivery. I thought it was a almost intentional artistic choice to leave things as they were, and I really did enjoy that approach. For me personally, it was like my next note is that they were completely unafraid to strip things back to basics like piano and vocals there at times as well. And that mentality and approach makes the overall songwriting here shine from beginning to end. There's real depth and substance to these songs as well. There's little bits and pieces of vocal harmony, and this is why I think also it's more an artistic choice, because the harmonies are bang on. There's not a fault there to be found. Right. And so I think that Tamina and her vocals has this knack of sort of dragging you in. For me, it worked anyway. It was a very alluring quality. I'm not going to quite say seductive, but there's this thing about it that just sort of drags you in. And I think between her lyrics and the topics, you know, covered in these songs, along with her delivery of that, was really well done. Big tones here. When they want to fucking, you know, allow the weight and heaviness of this to sort of really come into play, when they start to really drive the riff a bit, it can be a little bit, or put me in mind a little bit of Evergrey. Not the same thing, but there's a touchstone sort of thing there for me. So for me, there's some great riffs here. The rhythm section really does snap too. There's some cool polyrhythm stuff going on. There's energy, and when this gets going, it does get it's well done. Like, I know it's not going to be the most intense thing out there, but the peaks and troughs on this album really did give those moments, you know, time to shine for me personally. There's this sort of soaring moments here and there, which are cool as well. There's some nice hooks in this one as well. And that whole leaning more into the emotion and meaning behind writing a song and trying to get through to people, not only emotionally, but also intellectually, I thought was really well done. It's a stimulating listen that the whole thing, musically, lyrically, and all such, was really sort of combined nicely for me. There's also some nice use of groove and darkness across this whole record as well. You know, this covers quite a range in under an hour. It is some, in compared to a lot of other albums, it's a bit longer, but at the same time, it does cover quite a bit of ground in that track, especially with the cover at the end. Also, when they want to rumble, they really can. This is an interesting one in the way it flows to it. It starts off as a bit of a builder, but then once it sort of took off on the sort of halfway mark beyond, like people have all mentioned Fool's Goldmine, that's a standout for me as well. I think once you hit that point, it's just like bang, 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 bang. So it's just like, I think from there, it sort of just launches. Up to that point, sort of gets a bit sort of like it's just building, and then it hits that launching pad and goes for it. The solos, they're short, but I did like them a lot. I think Tamina deserves credit as well. I think that her vocal is unique, and I think that I'm really glad they just let it be as it was for me personally. That's what makes this, between the composition and her vocal, that's what makes this whole band stand out for me personally. I like a band that's unafraid to be themselves and stands out in all the right ways for me, because it's very creative, very interesting, and very well done from top to bottom for me. The cover, it's been touched on. It's really interesting. I do like the way this is done. We've had the conversation, Jeff and I, about, you know, do we prefer original or ones that are faithful or ones that are more than that? You know, we've all had that discussion behind the scenes. I like ones that change it up, and this does that in a really nice way. All in all, it's a different release. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be the main go-to for a lot of people out there, but I think, like has been said, it will find its audience, and deservedly so. If you like things a little bit progressive, a little bit poppy at the same time, but a little bit dark and loaded with meaning and sort of emotive context, and I think this is something you should check out. A bit more cerebral as a listen overall. A journey, but I liked it. A bit of a good journey. So it's good sort of build and close on the album as well. I gave it 8 shots. I picked Under Granite Skies, Fool's Goldmine, and Pieces as my standouts on this one. Vinny's chimed in with a comment on it. We'll see how we go. Not really sure about this sound. To use a metaphor, it's like a bloke who likes to wear dresses that's attached to women. Too much to wrap my little head around. So there we go there. Not sure where Vinny's going with his nights out, but all right. Anyway, let's move on to the fretboard few part of the show, where we're going on and going through and picking albums from 1985. And we're going month to month to go through the fun and games here. Belle has been kind enough to collate all the information for me, so thank you again to Belle as always for doing the counting the polls. So just to go through last week quickly. Last week we had April. As we finished up last week, the score there was Belle was on 130 points, Jeff on 100, I was on 100, and Dave on 90. So it's all pretty close. I had the first pick last week when it was Slayer Hell Awaits. Jeff took Exodus next, Bonded by Blood. Dave got third pick, Freddie Mercury, Mr. Bad Guy, and Belle went last and took Trouble with the Skull. The additional points in this regard is Belle got 20 points for her Trouble. There's a good pun there for you. Dave managed to get 30 points for Mr. Bad Guy. That means Jeff and I get to duke it out for top spot. And I got 40 points. Yeah, it's not bad. I got 40 points for Hell Awaits, which means that Jeff actually took the win with Bonded by Blood from Exodus.
Nice.
50 points for that.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Wow.
It was love.
There you go.
It's a great album. It's a good album.
Yeah. So that changes the scorecard around a little bit because, Dave, you're 120 points, so still at the back end, but it's much tighter now. I'm 140 points, and Belle and Jeff are both split on 150 points, but because Jeff had the higher score this round, if it was a tiebreaker, that's how it would go out. So Jeff technically is on top at the moment, but it's a tiebreaker situation. Wow. That brings us over to round 5, which is May, and whoever goes last the week before goes first in the new week. So over to May 1985, and Belle, you have first call. So which album are you taking off the board first?
There were some pretty good albums that I saw on the May list.
Yeah.
I certainly was more familiar with more than, I think it was just one of them that I was familiar with from April. So it was nice to be first. And even artists that I'd heard of. I hadn't heard the album necessarily, but actually made me want to sort of check them out. But this week I'm going with an album that I would say that I've spent the most time with in my life, not for quite a long time, but certainly back in the mid 80s when it came out, and that is the fantastically timeless Dire Straits Brothers in Arms album.
Okay.
Yep. Good album.
Cool.
There you go. Nice. So Dire Straits Brothers in Arms is the first pick off the board. That was on my short list. Got a few other ones on my short list as well. There's some good albums in this. Some really good albums in this little list. So it's like, which one do we go with? And there's some sneaky ones. Like Joe Walsh is in there. There's a few in this list, but New Order, another one. If you leave it for me, I'm going to take the obvious. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Megadeth. Killing Is My Business. I go with that one. Sorry, it's the obvious choice, isn't it? So I'm going to take it.
It was, but I
know, I get it.
The Brothers in Arms is a better. Well, in my opinion, it's a better album. Megadeth have
major hits on it too. It's a part of the folklore. So I don't think it'll go. I don't think it'll go horribly badly at all for you, Belle. I think we could be an interesting battle this month, or this week on the month. But Jeff, you get the call. So which way are you going?
Well, as it happens, my first pick is still there. So I am taking Rat, Invasion of Your Privacy, off the board. Sorry, Dave. I figured this happened. It's always the way we go last. Yeah. All right. So Rat, Invasion of Your Privacy, which means, Dave, it's a slightly depleted list, but there's still some interesting releases on here. So
yes, there is. Now? I'll go Night Ranger, 7 Wishes.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool.
Strong album. Yeah.
I'm getting a drink.
Okay. Cool. You do that.
I haven't heard it.
But anyway,
is that the album that had Sister Christian on? I can't remember. I got to look that up.
Oh,
that's
man, I'm not sure if it is.
I'll look it up. Don't worry.
My entire mindset today has been just getting my notes ready for tonight. So even as we were getting ready I was counting things as we got running. So I'm like, I'm not thinking about albums right now. I'm just doing numbers. But anyway, to recap here, Belle took Dire Straits Brothers in Arms with the first choice. I took Megadeth, Killing Is My Business. Jeff has Rat, Invasion of Your Privacy, and Dave has Night Ranger, 7 Wishes. There are some other interesting, so just for those playing along at home, Warlock had Hellbound. That was another on my list there. You got Bathory have The Return, Black Flag with Loose Nut, There's a few in there. Magnum on a Storyteller's Night, another one there as well. Robert Plant, Shaken and
the
Stirred.
Destruction. There was a Destruction album in there.
Yeah, Destruction,
yeah.
Infernal Overkill,
Yeah.
U2, Wide Awake in America. Like there's a quite a range there. So it wasn't a bad month overall. Like you said, Belle, probably the most interesting month or
so far, I think,
kind of month so far.
Yeah.
So next up, we'll do June. I've already started shortlisting these ones, so I'll be able to get the list through to you guys. But I was pretty good this week. But yeah, I've got it.
So helpful. The Wikipedia is not on a month by month.
No, I've had to go through and manually filter a lot of this out, but I've done the hard work and I've got most of it sorted out, so it's all good to go.
It's very much appreciated.
It's all good. Makes it easier than trying to hunt them down because you don't get detailed lists like this one, unfortunately. So it's just the way it works out.
Yeah.
Which now we're in a bit of an interesting segue because Dave's going to get a drink and it's meant to be his part of the show. So
maybe he's going to get a guitar pick as well.
He went to get a drink, he said, but we'll see what happens with that. But just so everyone knows, don't forget too also that you'll do the you'll have your chance to do the oh my goodness, as we get later in the year, you may want to hang on to it until December or November, but you do get that chance to go back to a different month that we've already gone through in the past if you want to choose something from a different month if you choose to do so. Don't forget your wild card option in the game.
Whoa. Sorry.
So
can you
in this game, in the fretboard feud, the way we're doing it now, if you do find a month that just doesn't do anything for you, but there were albums you remember from a previous month that we've already done that haven't been taken by someone else, you can do once only. So you may want to hang on to it for later on, but you can do it once.
Okay, cool.
I forgot about that.
So it can't be something that someone's already taken.
No, you can't take that.
Do you have to do it at the time that you're choosing your album, or can you okay.
That's what makes it it's a gamble, you know what I mean? Because you don't know what's coming up toward the end of the year. So,
yeah.
But it is something to think about. Just the option is there if you need it.
Oh, it makes it very interesting. Yeah,
I'm glad you reminded me because I forgot.
I didn't think it needed to be a problem this month, but just in general, there can be some quiet months. So if you do think about it later on, go, no, I'm not liking it in this month. You can go back to a previous month we've already done. You can't go ahead, but you can go backwards.
Cool.
And,
we can do that any month. Okay.
Any month you like. Like I said, December's pretty lean, so you may want to wait, but just see how you go with the months that are coming up. And if something, I haven't finished December yet. I've just done a short list that looks leaner by comparison.
You can't go ahead, so you can.
You can't go
back.
forward in time.
Go back.
Yeah, to give everyone the same, because that's why we're
over so far.
That's why you wait till December. You got the whole year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. But if anyone needs the list, I've got it, so it's all good.
I need the list.
Okay. I'll add that
we'll
to
put the list together.
All good. I'll get it through to you guys. But Dave has returned, which means I can stop padding and go, it's time for something completely different. And, Dave's doing shots to start the games here. So Dave has prefaced this by requesting a little extra time in the show tonight for this part of the show. And also wants to go a few, like the number 13 was important to Dave on this one. So I've done enough talking. Dave, you can take over now.
Okay. We're doing Guess the Riff because it's really my only trick. But the reason I want to do 13 is to make it a bit easier. I'm going to go alphabetically. Now, I don't want to do 26 because that's getting ridiculous. But 13 cuts the alphabet nicely in half. We can do the other 13 in 4 weeks' time. So this is A to M.
Okay.
So, obviously, first one will be A, and then we move on to B, and so forth.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Now, we have, what, Belle?
A to M, like a band or
bands, yes, not songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Cool.
we're mostly in classic rock territory because they seem to have the most identifiable riffs. And a lot of these are ridiculously easy. Okay, so have your horns ready, like we usually do. Okay. Belle, you're rolling your eyes, but trust, we're talking smoke on the water, fucking easy. There's no smoke on the water, but okay.
So what's the letter?
We're starting with A, obviously.
Starting with A.
Yep.
All right. That can be band or song?
No. The band starts with the letter of the alphabet.
Okay, gotcha.
And then from there, we just go on from there.
Okay. Yep.
Hey, we good?
Yep, good to go, man. Yep.
All right. That would be Aerosmith.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well done.
Fucking It's not same old song and dance, is it?
No,
No.
I don't know.
Oh, you get half a point, dude. Anyone else want half a point?
Bell, you want to go for it?
Jesus Christ, I know what it is now.
Jeff, it's go.
Jeff, what is it? What?
I think it's Walk This Way, isn't it?
No, it's
Oh
not.
my God! I'm just gonna leave.
Bell, take it.
Isn't it? It's Sweet Emotion, isn't it?
It is Sweet Emotion.
Fuck, I'm an
Yeah.
idiot. I'm an idiot.
Fuck.
All right, you both get a point. There you go.
Oh, okay, not even a
Sorry.
half point.
No,
That's
just,
yeah.
sorry, hang on. Vinny's gone
This is
ACDC.
getting
Michael's gone
fun.
Sweet Emotion. Just to quickly stop in here.
Fuck, I'm
Comments,
stupid.
guys. I'm not going to read all the comments as we go through. It's going to skip to the end. So we'll get to the
Oh.
comments later on if there's anything interesting. Otherwise,
I need
Dave, take it away. We're not going to go reading every guest. So just have a go in the
Oh,
comments.
I need
and see who gets
this
it.
is fun.
Lobotomy after that. Fuck
Yeah.
hell.
B.
B.
Come on, guys.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
Jeff.
no, Jeff.
Black Sabbath, Children of the Grave.
Oh, there you go. We got that
I was
one.
hoping his lobotomy would be permanent.
Well, I'd rather have a
No.
bottle in front of me than in front of the lobotomy. Anyway,
Not this time. All righty. So C now.
C. Good.
all right.
Okay, Bell.
It's Cream with Sunshine of Your Love.
Boom. Good job.
Very
There
good.
you go. Nicely done.
Yeah.
All right.
Come on, Andrew. You're letting the team down.
I know.
Come
I
on.
suck at this game. I really do. I never win this one.
Okay.
I saw
D.
it last time.
D.
Come on.
D.
I expect all fucking horns to be up with this.
D. Oh, sorry. Oh,
Oh, Jeff. I know it.
It's
Yeah.
Deep Purple Black Knight.
Yep.
Oh.
Well done, Jeff. There we go.
I knew it.
Yeah, I knew it.
Okay. E.
E.
We're getting way out of classic rock territory and getting to something a bit more modern. We all love
Okay.
this band, so fuck, I hope this goes well.
Okay. Bell.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God. Sorry. It's my favorite Eclipse song, Twilight.
Nice.
There you go. Nicely
Never-
done.
never heard
Thank
that.
Straight
you.
away, your face lit up. I knew you had that one in the bag straight away.
Love that song.
That's such a cool song.
Yes,
I had
it
no
is.
idea how heavy they actually detune. I had to
Keeping
really
track of
modify
the
that.
score, Andrew?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm getting the score.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Jeff. That's all good.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
He was one of those letters that like, fuck, what am I going to do? There's a few when we get to the second half more often, but okay.
Yeah,
F.
that's it. Oh, Bell.
Oh wait.
Bell got there first.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so. She did.
awesome. Oh, it's off my favorite Free album. So Free, All Right Now.
Nice.
It's off
Well
Fire and Water.
done.
Yes.
You got it.
Nicely done.
Good job.
Right,
Okay.
different tuning. Over to G, aren't we?
G, yes. Once again, this is not classic rock. This is something a lot more modern, but actually fits really well.
Sorry. Sorry, Dave. No.
Go
Guns
on.
N' Roses. No, because it might not be.
Yeah, it's not. Who are they?
I'm out.
Come on. It'd been way too obvious if we did it on Guns N' Roses.
I
figured that'd be
know. I
fair.
know.
It's Gus G. No.
I got this one. No, Sweat Hammer.
Fuck yeah.
I got one. There we go.
See,
Fuck,
Gary's on the
even I
board.
knew that.
There we
I
go.
keep my pants on this time. I don't get dacked at the pool table. All right. H is next.
I just picked Ghost over fucking Guns N' Roses. Okay. H. Back to classic rock.
Oh, Jeff just. Yep.
That would be Heart and Barracuda.
Yeah.
Fuck
it
yeah,
Cool.
dude.
Well done. Well done. He just
Nice.
beat me then too, motherfucker.
No.
This
All
is
right.
easy.
Okay.
Yep.
I like this easy shit.
I.
I.
All right, Jeff.
Well, that would have to be Iron Maiden. Yes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And the song, of course, is Run to the Hills. Fuck, it was like my brain was.
Is
It's
that?
not Run to the
No.
Hills.
No.
No. That's the thing. I knew the band, but I couldn't pick the song straight away.
I know what it is, but Jesus Christ.
Okay, Jeff, you want to go again?
Yeah, why would?
Come on, Jeff. What is it?
It's Aces High. Why the fuck was I smoking some weird fucking pot there? I don't know what it was.
It's Aces High.
I was like, yeah, I got it. And,
blanking. Oh my god.
It's Aces High, yeah.
Yeah, even Vinny was getting in the comments going Aces High, so there we go.
Yeah.
Well done, Vinny.
I don't know.
Yeah, Vinny was beating us there. All righty.
Okay.
So speaking of Jay, yeah.
Jay.
Jay.
Okay. I'm gonna like mention even the band is embarrassed by this fucking riff.
Yep.
That's Judas Priest breaking the law.
It is.
Yep.
Are they embarrassed by that riff? That's kind of
Yeah.
a cool riff.
It's a cool riff, but fuck, it's run out of how to play guitar for dummies.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It worked.
It works. It's fucking
there
cool.
we go. So 3 to go, isn't it right, Dave?
Yep. Hey.
Oh.
Oh,
yeah, Jeff.
This is Kiss, and fuck me. I know it. It's right there.
I know it. I know the song. I know it now.
It's not Strutter.
Later.
No.
I know it, but I don't know.
All right, Love Gun, Dave.
Love Gun.
Love Gun.
There you go.
And
I got another point.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love Kiss.
Go on there. Fuck it.
I should do a guess the riff just with all Kiss. That'd be fucking fun.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bell's like,
yes.
Maybe not so good.
Yeah.
One of the best bands ever. I'm fucking sad they're gone. Okay, L.
Oh, yes. Jeff, you better get this.
Yeah, I better get this one. So that is the great and mighty Led Zeppelin. And the song, of course, is Rock and Roll. Black Dog. Black Dog.
No.
You suck.
Oh.
He did correct himself.
I was thinking in my head, it's Black Dog. It's Black Dog.
He did correct himself.
Right album.
Oh.
Yeah, no, he did
Black
say
Dog.
Black Dog right after. He did say Black Dog when you guys
for
were
some
after.
reason,
No, sorry. I mean,
yeah.
I'm going to put my horns up if I know the bloody band, but not the song.
Yeah.
And then bide my friggin' time.
That's how you do it. Just pick the band
and then wing it.
You
Like,
on
fade
the
out
clock.
until you guess the song. Yeah. Michael's here, by the way, Dave. Hi, boys and girls. Good to see you.
Hey, man.
Good to see you. And Vinny's gone, oh my God, Jeff, what the hell? Yeah,
I know.
we're all in the same boat, man. So I don't know what you're doing, Jeff, but we're the last one now, Dave. Is that right?
M.
Yep, M.
Ooh.
Okay. I expect all horns up on this. Otherwise, you have no fucking business being on this
All right.
show.
They're right
Yeah, no
here.
pressure
They're
on
right
me.
here.
You ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you set?
We're ready. We're ready.
We're ready. Oh.
Andrew got it.
Metallica.
Yeah.
Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
There we go.
Fuck
Yay.
I got. Hey, look, I belong on my own show. That's a good thing to know. That's all right.
You're the master.
No, I didn't fuck that up.
Master.
All right. Anyway, I think we can all imagine that Jeff did take the chocolates this week for this game, but
Yeah.
that, Dave.
Part 2 in 4 weeks' time.
Yeah.
N to Z.
Woohoo!
Which gets interesting because there are
That's
some
gonna
odd
be-
letters.
Yeah, it's gonna be challenging,
Yeah,
which is gonna
wow,
be
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
We
Dave-
could do it now, but I'm not 100% on some songs, so
No,
it'd be
okay.
interesting.
It's all good. Be interesting to see how you play out with different themes and that as this idea works on too. But I think you finally finally found a good way to set a tone and
Yeah.
make it work, man. So I
Yeah.
think
There's a few ideas, man.
yeah,
So
definitely.
I could,
I'm thinking like Metallica and Megadeth.
Yeah.
You get a point for picking the band and picking the song, which is obviously going to work.
Cool.
Or Maiden and Priest.
Yeah.
Could do a
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses one, Kiss.
Yeah. Anything.
I'd do Ghost, but Bell would obviously be on the ass with that one. But there's so many cool fucking riffs. But Could do just 70s. Could do fucking
Yeah, can
Hendrix.
do eras, can do all sorts of stuff. But
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool,
I could
man.
fuck with everyone and do grunge. Actually,
That would be interesting. That would be interesting.
It would be the opposite of interesting. I think.
improv. Okay.
Bill, did you want to say something a second ago? You did put your hand up to say something, I thought.
I did, but I can't remember what I was going to say. Can't have been too important. Doesn't matter.
Pick the grunge riff.
All right. There we go. We well, then Vinny's gone also. That was really polished, Dave. So there we go. Just you got to give things time to breathe and work themselves out, and it genuinely does. So we get there in the end. Just that was well done. I thought that was. I think Dave. I think you're thinking about it and done it. I think it's the best one yet. So that was really cool. So thank you.
Yeah, that came out well. Alphabetically works.
Yep.
And what I was going to say was that we could hear the sound perfectly this time. So I think we've all learned to shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, which
when
is first.
Dave's playing. Yeah.
I really want to figure out a way to do it electric again. There must be a way to like hatch in somehow to the phone or do it for a laptop.
Something you could do, Dave. I know it's not the same thing, but we could make it a way to pre-record and then send them through maybe as well as a backup plan on that idea as well.
I thought about that myself.
So
that could work, actually.
Yeah, you could pursue that as an idea too. So you could pre-record and then we can just play it as we go, and I won't.
Yeah, but you can't cheat, dude. You can't watch.
I won't. But just give me song 1, song 2, song 3, and then I won't know what the titles are anyway.
If you win that week, we'll know you cheated.
Hey, what about the guy or person who's playing? What if they fucking vote for their own songs? They'll get every single song. I got it. Yeah.
Well, you can't do that. Obviously,
it depends on how many of these I have. Like, what the fuck do
I
I play?
think I remember playing that.
Yeah. Just quickly, we didn't mention this, but next week for Backyard Banger, it's Two-Headed Dog with Poor El Lado C. That's a band that's been quiet for a long time. They've just returned with a new EP, so Two-Headed Dog out of Melbourne. That is next week's Backyard Banger. And next week for the game, Jeff, you're up. Jeff, you have the floor next week for something different. So let's see what you've got for us next week. No, Dave, well done. I think that, good one. That was. It's all been good. That was the best one. Yeah, that was very well done.
That was great.
Yeah. All righty.
Not because I won, but it was the best one.
All righty. On to the next part of the show here, which is the global groove part of tonight's proceedings.
Yeah.
So in the comments and the description box, you've got a reference track there, which is Tremonti Just Too Much. I picked this one. It was my turn to go this week, so I'm just going to kick on and get on with it. So this is Tremonti with The End Will Show Us How. 12 tracks, 56 minutes. The 6th studio album from the project, fronted by Mark Tremonti, released January 2025 via Napalm Records. Produced by Michael Elvis Basquette. 4 singles been released, including Just Too Much and This Mother Earth and I. This is the first studio album from this outfit since Mark rejoined Creed back in 23, as such making this the first album from the band since 2021. So far, this album has charted reasonably in Europe and sees this core lineup returning in place. I chose this one not only because I'm personally a big fan of Mark Tremonti's work, not only actually prefer his solo work, but also his stuff outside, like the Sinatra kind of stuff too. But also because a big supporter of ours in Mr. Wayne Hauser is a massive fan of this man and his work, so I figured I'd give a shout out to Wayne and some love to one of his favorite bands or artists of all time. He's got a massive Alter Bridge tattoo, for example, so there you go. Yeah, time to get stuck into things. I think he's got the tattoo or he's got the guitars. I don't know what it is, Ben. I thought he has the tattoo of Alter Bridge, but I could be wrong on that one. Anyway, Tremonti with The End Will Show Us How. As I said at the top, I'm not only a big fan of Mark and his work, but for Wayne, I hope you're watching this one at some point. Whenever you do, shout out to you. Love you at work. Love you always. And just looking forward to catching up whenever we can do. Dave, you caught up with him a long time ago, or not too long ago, actually. So.
Wayne's a top bloke, man. Fucking awesome, dude. Top guy.
But anyway, right.
Sorry to cut it. I almost met Tremonti. He was at Cherry Bar the same time I was, but of course I was up the front and center for the band, and he was at the bar. I didn't know he was there until I left, and someone told me. And everyone was taking photos with him. Like, what the fuck? Come and get me!
Oh, that sucks. That sucks. I missed it by that much moment for you. So there you go.
Yep.
All right. With this album, though, from the start, for me personally, it had a big sense of drama and atmosphere that sort of, from there, it starts off the way and then it builds pretty quickly from that point forward. Now, if you've not paid attention to any of the projects, there are a few now that are fronted by Mark and his vocals, then you've missed out as far as I'm concerned. He's an underrated vocalist in so many respects. I love his tone, his delivery, his clarity of the enunciation. It's fantastic. That sort of allows the storytelling for me to shine, and I think the lyrics on these are really well done. The delivery on that front is nailed, but around that, you've got these riffs and composition that are just as good. Right from the opening track, this just sort of drags you in and holds your attention from beginning to end. On the guitar, with Mark playing, of course, the lead work is brilliant, expect no less. But around that, though, the whole band really do make their presence felt on each and every song. This utterly fucking rumbles when they really get into gear. That said, Mark is really clear in this one. His vocal, shines, but the counterpoint to that with the overall tone and feel having a sort of a darkness and a menace to it is really a nice sort of counterpoint to that too. There's a lot of sort of darker tones and lower notes being used, but his vocal is sort of more in the mid-range, but he just uses his range well to be a great counterpoint to the composition, which is just really fucking intelligent. I think that there's some good hooks in this one as well. Great groove. This one, it's just gnarly and punchy. So much so that the headroom got a bit squashed in the mix, but I think it's an intentional choice, not a accidental thing. I think they've deliberately done that one. For me personally, I would have liked to have if they'd have kept that bit of headroom there. But that said, it's only at certain moments, and it's the really impactful parts that they've done it on, and the vocals never affected. So I think it's much more of an artistic choice. Going back to what we've talked about this sort of stuff with Underground Skies earlier tonight too. But overall, from top to bottom, regardless of that, this has great tones. It really punches out of the speakers at you. I think. I love how the vocals have that perfect amount of space carved out for them in this mix, just spatially, sonically, left and right, forward, backward. But on top of that, there's this great layering on this, not just in the production, but also in the composition. There's some really cool layering. There's a lot to take in on repeat listens as you start to dive deeper into it, especially things like little vocal harmonies that are subtly done, but they're in there on quite a few tracks of this one too, which I thought was a nice little touch on this listen. And when they want to, they can lean into the swing on this as well. This just moves from beginning to end. It's a longer album, but I never get tired of spinning this one. I listened to it when it came out, and I've just been sort of progressively listening to it now and then over the course of the year. And it's one of those ones where I've just never gotten tired of it. It breathes, it moves, it's never stale or tired for me. The emotive depth and weight really just landed on this album, and it just feels well-rounded. And in some respects, more mature. I know that Mark Tremonti is not an immature artist, but it just feels like there's a difference between doing all these other bits and pieces and singing other people's songs and that kind of stuff, but then fronting your own thing under your own name. As you do more of that, it's a different mindset, and I think that mindset on this presentation has matured more, and I think it's a really well-rounded, really well-done release. There are some slower, more somber touches on this one that really do sort of make the album breathe more, like I was saying before. But I keep mentioning the darkness in that, but it's never melancholic. There's this thing about it that even though they can slow things down, it could almost be morose, but there's this way they do things which is different. Like it's a little, on those slower, more somber moments, they have this knack of putting like a brighter guitar tone in there. There's little bits and pieces to give you always light and shade in every element across not only the individual songs, but that of course flows into the whole album. But they've done this trick really nicely where it's all about contrast, and they fucking nailed that for me. The way they use tones and that is just really, really well done. This whole album just screams balance, and they nailed it. This has riffs, it has melody, it has meaning and more. This is a damn fine record, and it may well be the best he's done under his name for me. It's one of the odd little times where it's funny because we all know Mark's done a body of work with Creed, a body of work with Alter Bridge, and all those other things too. But it's almost like he's launched out of the shadow of Creed, and whatever he's done since then has basically shadowed over Creed as far as I'm concerned. I don't mind Creed. I'm not knocking Creed, but what Mark has done outside of that, considering that's what he's quote unquote the household name for, this just blitzes it as far as I'm concerned. And he's getting better with every release as far as I'm concerned. He's just not only growing, but he's sort of glowing into his own thing now. I enjoy all the work he does, especially when he fronts it. So things like this, Alter Bridge, obviously, but also things like when he does his Sinatra-inspired stuff, when he covers Sinatra and did the Christmas album a couple of years ago. There's a lot of his stuff where he does vocally this almost crooner style to, which he's transferred that over to his approach in the metal world too. He's worked on his singing like an absolute demon, and it shows. It's paid off, and I think he's one of the better ones going around at the moment. This, for me, is pretty much for anyone that enjoys, melodic metal with meaning. It's not complicated. It's not a complicated or hard recipe, but it's one of those ones where it's easy to fuck it up. and this man and his work and the people around him have not done so. I think they've nailed it. I think that, like I said, could well be his best work yet. And like I said, simple recipe, but when you get it right, it just feels like fucking coming home. And this for me is fantastic. I'm going to give this one 9 shots. I picked the Mother Earth and I, Tomorrow We Will Fall, and Now That I've Made It. But there's all these other great tracks across this album for me, but I loved it to bits. 9 from me. Jeff, I'll throw to you next as I put the random draw out. How'd you go with it?
I was actually very surprised how good this album was. I didn't really know what to, well, you kind of know what to expect. You listen to a Tremonti album and, they're all pretty good. But I felt that this one was a bit above what I'd heard previously. There was a polish here that, not that it's overproduced, but the songwriting, everything is just, it's better constructed. I think it's really good. I agree with you. This may be the best thing that I've certainly heard from Tremonti ever. I think this album is, it needs to be held in the same regard as some of the previous releases that they've done, because it's just great. It's just a really, really good, solid album. And I thank you for putting it forward, because I probably would have missed it otherwise. And so it's going to make my short rotation list. I will be listening to this and then going, hey, there's Vlad. And then going back through, if you're watching Jim, there's your cat. I haven't killed him. He's still alive. And so, and so, I want to go back and go back and listen to the catalog as well. Alter Bridge and stuff. I'm not a massive fan of Alter Bridge. I like them, but not massive. I much prefer Tremonti over that. So, yep, great album. 9 shots as well.
Nice. All right, cool. Dave, I drew your name out next. So how'd you go?
Yeah. Interesting hearing both of your thoughts on this album, because similar to Jeff, I've never been a massive Alter Bridge fan. There's some cool songs. I don't think I've actually heard a full Alter Bridge album. Same as Tremonti, I don't think I've heard a full album from him. To sum up this album in one word, it is disappointing. Because I know he's a good guitarist. I can hear he's a good guitarist. But as far as an album and songs, it's just... It took a while to actually figure out this album. I mean, I didn't hear it when it came out, so I only heard it this week. And first time hearing it was at work on the soundbar. Soundbar usually sounds fucking amazing, but the opening song sounded fucking horrible. It just sounded like an overproduced wall of sound, which washed out the vocals and the solo. And maybe it was just because hearing it on a soundbar, but usually everything else that I hear that I'm familiar with sounds like what I know. So I got to the second track, and the second track has a cool riff. I'm like, okay, I got to come back to this album, because that first song, the opening track of every album, should set you up for what you want, and it didn't. I'm like, okay, fuck this. I'm going to come back to this the next day. And I start with the second song the following day, and that was pretty good. The first song in itself is pretty fucking average and not a good opening to an album at all. The second song, One More Time, much better. Overall, the production on this album was really distracting. And I know Tremonti he's obviously a great guitar player, but he's got a lot of effects happening in his setup. And you got a lot of production on top of that. So it's really building up to this wall of sound, which is distracting. Like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And so many people have access to so much shit. To hold it back a little bit, because it's just too much. There's a song called Just Too Much. So
it's a reference track. Yep. There you go.
The song nails. I never thought I would say this, but as it fades out, there's flanger towards the end of it, covering everything. I don't know what fucking track it's on, but it's covering, and it disappears in the last 20 seconds of that song. It sounds so much better without.
Wow.
So it's overproduced. Speaking of flanger, Tomorrow We Will Fail. It starts off with a drum intro, and there's flanger on the drums. Flanger sounds good on guitar. It never sounds good on drums. But with just that one drum track, and it's covered in flanger, that is kind of an indication of how much fucking production there is on every stream throughout this album. You mash it all together, it's just too much. It's a wall of sound, and it just gets muddled. You don't need to overproduce every single fucking track that you put out there, especially when you got so much happening in your guitar setup. You don't have to put fucking flanger on the drums as well. My God. I was trying to figure out what it is about this production that stops me, what it is about this album that stops me from enjoying it and from being memorable. And it's just the modern production. It's also, there's a song, I'll Take My Chances. The lyrics and vocals don't mesh with the music. There's this really busy, intricate guitar stuff that's happening, which is cool. And then there's these vocals on top. I'm a fan of guitar. I'm a fan of lyrics, but I'm a music fan, but I'm also, I can see all different worlds. And while I can focus on the guitar, I can focus on the lyrics, this doesn't work as a song for me. It's just not balanced. It's annoying. Just strip things back a little bit, because dude's got talent. He can write, he can perform and everything, but just write a decent fucking song without so much production. Great guitar player, but this was just disappointing. It would work better, I think, as an instrumental album, because the vocals on top of all the stuff that's going on, all just strip back on the production, which make it a bit more interesting. But I gave it 6 out of 10. One More Time was probably the best song.
All right. Well, there we go. We're getting some different points of view now. We've got one more to go. And Belle, when I announced this one last week, your reaction told a story. So has that reaction held true for the week since?
Well, yeah. Yeah. Look, okay, so here's my story. I was quite excited back in January when this came out, and I listened to it straight away, like that, you know, within days, maybe that day. I don't remember. And because I'm a fan, look, I just this is cool. I'm a fan. So was happy. Okay, cool, awesome. But I haven't listened to it since, until this week at least. And the reason for that is because the expectations that I had for this release, they weren't entirely met, and I was left feeling disappointed. Like, I think Dave used that word, disappointed. Yeah. Possibly. Well, and for different reasons, but now that I've listened to his, possibly some of the same, I'm not really sure, but what I thought it was there's some, you know, the performances are great, like the talent is there, it's undeniable, the vocals are amazing. There's nothing wrong with any of it, but for me, I thought maybe the songwriting, while there's some cool moments, like as whole compositions, they were just a bit, like nothing was really like, wow, that was fucking, what a great song. And I know that whole album's not supposed to be like full of, fuck, that was a great song. They're rare. They exist, but they're rare. Yeah. For me, it was, I don't think there was one song on here that was like, fuck, that was a cool song. So that's to me, it was disappointing. Maybe, after hearing what Dave had to say, maybe it was a production. I wasn't that wasn't standing out to me as a problem though. So yeah, look, by no means was this a chore to listen to again. And if I'm honest, I probably enjoyed it a bit more this time around than I did the first time around.
Okay. Yeah, that's at least positive.
So that's good. So there's promise there, but then nothing really about listening to it this time around or this week made me want to kind of delve again anytime soon. So and I feel bad for that. Not just for you, Andrew, as something you put forward, but for Tremonti as like something he's written.
Oh well.
Yeah. I don't know. This one didn't do it for me. But I did have some, as far as an album of songs that I didn't particularly love, I did have some standout tracks. And
okay, cool.
They were One More Time, like I think everyone enjoyed. The End Will Show Us How, and Live in Fear. Yeah. And I'll give it a 7.
Yeah,
because
cool.
it's just, it's good. It's just,
Yeah. No, I get it. It's all good.
Yeah.
No, it's just this is actually, it's in its own way. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
I'm done. Yeah, no, I'm done. Thank you.
it's funny how we used to do those torture things all the time, and it's not an intentional thing. We're not trying to piss each other off or do things, but every week has been like there's been a difference of opinion. It's very rare. It's again that whole thing where it's rare that we're all agreeing on an album being good or bad. So it's
I'll have to put forward like Northlane or something like that. We'll all be like, yay!
Anyway. we did replay that one a few weeks back, and we had the week off. But anyway, it's funny how it's turning that it's not a torture segment. It's that whole thing. We are proving a different taste now because we bring this one, we handpick it and bring it into the group and see how it goes. But I'm glad it got different opinions. It's good to have that. I've got no problem at all. So it's fantastic. But on that, Belle, you get the final word because the album next week is your call. So what are you giving us to choose for next week?
Okay. Well, if you don't like this, if you find it kind of meh, then there's some like karma, but hopefully you'll like it. My album for next week, my global groove, is going to be a band called Deathless Legacy.
Yes. Love it. Spoiler
and the
alert.
album is Damnatio Eternia. And look, I can send you the link if you want. But Deathless Legacy album,
cool.
came out. I think it was in March, and I've been listening to it pretty regularly since. It's fucking great. So
nice. That's a band I want to backtrack on. Just find because that album was fucking great.
Yeah. I only discovered them.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Cool.
5 or 6. This could be their 6, but there's a fucking lot on Spotify. So.
Oh God! Cool. Even my last global groove, Frantic Amber, I haven't even backtracked through them. I want to. It's just waste of time. But one day I'll get there.
One day.
Hey, sponsor us so we can give up our day jobs. Somebody sponsor us.
That'd be nice if we could do this for a living. I'd be fucking happy, man.
Give us money to drink alcohol and listen to music.
Yeah.
It's called the doll. There's such a payment.
Who's that prime minister? Whoever that cunt is, give us money.
No, well, that'll happen. Anyway, your mate though, Michael said after your game, Dave said, "Dave, I've converted you to the captain." I'm not sure what
you have. Well, no, because
right now I get
character. It's Andrew.
Yes, I feel.
Like seriously,
there was a whole about this. Do you want me to put you in solo mode? Hang on, give me a second.
You can see.
Oh, hang on. What? Sorry, that fucking thing. Come on. There we go. That one. That button. There we go. Apparently, it's me.
It looks just like him.
All right, well,
same dynamics.
Well done. I'll pay that one. I'll drink to that. The funniest thing about it is that my main brew of choice at home is homebrew rum. So make of that what you will. So
we gotta do a pirate special. Hey, when's International Dress Like a Pirate or Talk Like a Pirate?
Oh yeah, when is that?
I don't know.
We should do that.
Jolie's laughing in the background, so that's funny as.
I don't really.
We'll have to look it up.
International.
Jolie here. Where's Joel? Hi, Jolie.
In Discord. Joel is chatting in Discord.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
As always, yeah.
Friday, 19th September. So the 18th of September, we're dressing like pirates.
Yay! Okay.
All right. Cool. Dress up in September. It's like the precursor to Halloween.
Yay!
All right. So, I've got a jar of dirt. Anyway, for those that know Captain Jack Sparrow. Anyway,
stick a cannonball up your cunt.
Yes, yo, stick a ball up your cunt. Stick your dick in a blender. Anyway.
Don't get dig for treasure.
Sorry, Belle. Dave and I both love Ailstorm, so you're gonna get.
I'm fine with that.
I'm a fucking pirate.
You guys like Ailstorm? Can I just sorry? Didn't mean to interrupt. I just have to know, what do you think of the band? You like Ailstorm, so what do you think of that band, Wind Rose?
Oh, like Diggy Diggy Hole. I'm a fucking dwarf.
Me, I want to shoot myself every time I hear that fucking song.
No,
yes, that's
I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole.
Don't do that. You listen to Ailstorm and Lagerstein. Those are the bands you listen to.
There's another one. There's another pirate band called of course I'm
Running Wild.
At the moment. No, they're called.
That's a German band.
Fucking hell! So I've got it here. Swashbuckle. They're a bit heavier.
Okay, I want to know.
They're kind of like thrash pirate metal.
Okay, and there was another one that came out earlier this year or late last year that was like a different one as well. There's a newer one out there too. We'll have to do a deep dive into pirate metal one day. That'd be interesting. Jodie will kill me for doing it because she hates it, and yeah, so that'll be fun. So wish me all the best for that. But we'll eventually do something like that. All right, I'm going to quick get to some comments here. Vinny said, I put Tremonti with Miles Kennedy, easy for older ears to digest and a great reminder of why you love rock music. So there's some positive words there. When Kitty Cat walked through, Jeff Jim says, miss you, Vladdy. So there we go. Jim, we are here. So yeah, we do get to the comments eventually. Vinny says, Bell, I've given Northland a decent crack. It feels like I'm raw dogging to outer space. Nova is a decent trippy track of theirs Obsidian album, though. So there we go. Wow. Michael has gone, good choice for Global Grooves, Bell. Yep, they've been around since 2008. So that's for next week's one there, which is cool.
Oh, wow.
Legacy. Vinny's gone, OnlyFans, Andrew, you can use the handle Hairy Farmer Doesn't Need a Wife. Well, that's true.
But are there pigs, chops, and dynamics?
Yeah, well,
he's making up for his absence tonight.
Yeah, he's making up for Sunday for sure. And Michael's on Pirates. Do it. Well, one day we will. We'll have to make a pirate.
I agree. I'm up for that.
Right. Maybe we'll tear up a TV episode for September as well.
Yeah.
Pirate Day. Do a pirate one for that. Yeah, do a TV one. That'd be
great idea.
All right, I try.
For that.
All righty, we've got a couple of bits and pieces to get through before we get into
put Nightwish, Thomas Halapanion's pirate era. Like, I digress.
Pirate era? What pirate era?
But once he was dressed up like Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah,
that was the whole. He had actually had a bowl of Captain Jack hanging off his keyboard.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
On that one. All right. Anyway, next week, Deathless Legacy, which is different to what we're talking about now. And now we're going to move on to the next segment. We've got two things to get through tonight, and it is starting to get toward the timeline, so I do want to make sure we get through the last two bits of business to get into tonight. First up is the Metal Mogul things. On these off weeks, we go through and build up our collection of bands that we think will release stuff this year, and then at the end of the year, we'll have a tally of points and see who had the most successful collection of bands, and then we'll do it again next year. So it's a new round here. So I've gone through and tallied up the scores and how things have gone through. I'm going to go in order of who is scoring lowest to highest, and then that will be the same order for who picks the next band. But this is like a recap for everyone to work out where they're up to score-wise, but also work out what band they can or can't take. Because you can't take a band that someone else has already got, obviously, on your list. But here we go. So just try to keep things in memory. I have a list here, so if you get stuck, I will pull you up and go, no, you can't choose that one. They've already been taken. Anyway. Coming in last, so the one we're going to go through first is Jeff. The Omnific so far have gifted Jeff with 20 points for Full Circle, both being a single and video. You get 10 points per single, 10 points per video, 50 points for an EP, and 100 points for an album. That's how this works. Sebastian Bach has given Jeff 10 points with a video for To Live Again.
Thanks, Sebastian.
Yeah. Jeff, you have
we should have constant announcements to this because I'm going to go see Sebastian Bach.
Too late.
No, that's not happening. I'm not.
Hands up who's going to see Sebastian Bach.
No, I know. And that's fucking, here we go. Anyway, maybe get a live clip later on, Jeff. Symphony X is also on Jeff's list and nothing there. But Wasp has given Jeff 110 points with the Paint It Black video and the bonus tracks and B-sides album that's part of the compilation thing coming up that was already out this year. He also picked Cerebral Hemorrhage with their album Exempting Reality. That got him 100 points for that one. Black Sabbath is on his list with nothing. Megadeth gets 100 points. It's coming. But Megadeth got him 100 points for the Losing Game Live album. They released that one. So Jeff's total last time around was 230 points. His new total is 340 points. So he has added to his total just a bit slowly. Yeah. Next up is actually a bit of a tie break, but because it goes by who's the highest in the newest round kind of thing, or the newest addition to your collection, that goes higher. So Dave and Bell are actually tied on points. In the tie break split, Dave actually goes lower than Bell because Bell had the higher scoring new round, or new addition. So Dave, so far on your list, you have Envenomed, which has 0 points.
Come on, guys.
You got Dynasty, though, with the album, a couple of videos, and a single that gets you 130 points for that one.
Cool. I should listen to the album. Thanks.
Yeah. You have Avantasia on your list as well. Again, album, 2 videos, 2 singles, 140 points for that. Wednesday 13 gives Dave 170 points. So you have the album, you have 3 videos and 4 singles to go with that one. Halloween gives Dave 100 points as well for March of Time compilation. So compilation album.
There's an album coming.
There is an album coming, so Dave can hang on to that
video, new song and video tomorrow.
All right, well, you'll have that added onto the next
I'm excited. Yes.
I can tell.
Oh,
but
cool.
then we get to one that Dave got no points for. That's Salem's Lot. There's no points yet for Salem's Lot.
It's coming. I swear they got
we'll
something
see.
cooking.
But he also has Machine Head on his list. There's 150 points for that with a couple of singles, a few videos, and an album out there as well. So Dave last time around was on 310 points. He's
forgot about that. Good play, Dave.
More than doubled it now. He's on 690 points now.
How did I not pick Ghost? What's wrong with me?
I don't know. But you didn't pick Ghost, but you still can. Dude. We'll see. You still can. Bell is next. Like I said, there was a split there. So Bell got, I don't know what the song was, but there was a single and video released early this year. That got 20 points to Bell. Hailstorm have finally started to come through for Bell with the single and video. Like there's a couple of singles and videos out there. So that gives Hailstorm 40 points for Bell. Killswitch Engage is on your list as well. You have a few singles, a couple of videos, and an album, which gets you 150 points there. Arch Enemy, another solid contributor. Album, single, and a couple of videos. They're 130 points. Testament is on your list, and you got nothing there yet. However, you do have Heat, which gives you an album, I think 4 videos and 3 singles, 170 points there. It's a nice little earner. And then this is why you got better than Dave in the last round, because you put Thin Lizzy in your stable last time out. And you have an album, some videos, some singles, that all up netted you 180 points. So you went from 220 last time around to 690 points this time around.
Damn.
You're welcome, Bell. I introduced you to Thin Lizzy. You're welcome.
Who'd have thunk it? Picking Thin Lizzy for a new release.
You know what? It's ridiculous. That fucking acoustic album, they released every song but one a week before. It was stupid.
I know.
There was one song
all
left.
this year.
Oh, well, it is what it is. Which means that I have the next call. Well, I'm on the next on the list. So I have Alien Weaponry on my list. They get me 160 points for the album, some videos, and some singles. Carnival have got me nothing yet, though. Anthrax have given me nothing yet, but I know that's coming. Pretty Reckless.
It's been coming for the last 6 years.
I think, yeah, just like Santa and fucking Blue Balls.
Impotency sucks.
Pretty Reckless have given me nothing yet. Volbeat, though. Volbeat have given me 210 points with the album, a bunch of videos. They released like a video for every one of their songs and one single, believe it or not. But yeah, that's how it works out for Volbeat. So 210 points for Volbeat. That's not even my highest earner.
One single from Volbeat?
One single, kidding? But they're actually... No, you go to Spotify, it's one single, the rest are videos on YouTube.
Not 2 songs.
I thought they had more than one.
We did 2 songs, I'm sure.
You're not going to rip yourself off, so obviously.
People can put it forward from different places, so don't forget that. That's why I put singles and videos in there as well.
Still winning.
Well, yeah, because my next one is a great earner. Rob Favoto, we've an Aussie artist we've reviewed. Okay, I have
my inside knowledge. You fucking cheat.
I don't know. He sent one last year. He sent one thing last year. I've noticed last year that he was pretty prolific, so I thought I'll take a gamble and so hope he keeps. He was the first one I picked this year. He was the first one I picked. So I took a gamble.
It's like betting on Toe Hider, who releases a fucking album each week.
Well, if you know, you know. But anyway,
exactly.
He hasn't for a while. He's a bit.
He's probably out of ideas. He's released everything he's got.
I don't think that brain could ever be out of ideas. That brain just
not really.
Yeah, something big must be coming. If Cohider's gone quiet, something unusual. Yeah.
But anyway, Rob Favoto, going back, has given me 5 EPs, a bunch of videos, and a bunch of singles for a grand total of 390 points for Rob Favoto.
Wow. Rob, you sell it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then we got Buckcherry, who have yet to drop their album.
How much has Andrew been paying you?
With 4 singles and 3 videos for Buckcherry as well. So I went from 290 points last time around to 830 points this time around.
Of course you did.
Yeah, wow. That's incredible.
That's a big jump. So there we go. It's been a few months we've done it, though, so bear that in mind. It's been a few months since we've done this one. All right. So we'll go through in the same order. You have the option first and foremost to drop someone from your roster that you feel is underperforming. But if you do drop them and they've given you points, you lose those points as well. But you can drop one and take two when we go back through and re-choose artists again. So I'm going to quickly go through and ask if you're going to drop anyone. Jeff, are you going to drop anyone?
Yes, I am.
Okay, who are you dropping?
Ooh.
Symphony X.
Okay.
Ooh.
To be fair, probably a smart.
Yeah,
call,
understandable.
to be blunt. All right, so Symphony X is out, which means, by the way, just in case anyone does want to take the gamble on Symphony X, they're back in play. It's just that we'll go through, but Jeff gets two choices this time around. Dave, are you dropping anyone from your list?
Yeah, I had faith in Salem's Lot, but I think they're going to let me down, so fuck them. But if you don't know them, check out their previous work because Thrash meets Glam. It's fucking amazing.
All right.
But yeah, so now that I've dropped...
But you get two slots back in as well now. So you get
So by Salem's Lot, so I'm going to pick Alice Cooper and
Hang on. Wait until we go back through. I'm letting everyone drop their ones first, then we'll go back through in the same order for picking you.
Okay.
Bill, are you dropping anyone?
No, I'm not dropping anyone this time. I'm happy with my lot.
There's a few underperformers on mine, but I've got faith that they're coming, so I'm going to hang tight as well. So Belle and I get one more addition to our catalogs, but Jeff and Dave get two additions. What I'm going to do here to keep it fair is Jeff gets picked, Dave gets picked. We'll go back to those two again, then Belle, you and I will go last after that in the same order.
I just gave away my shit, didn't I?
Well, I don't know, but Jeff, who are you replacing Symphony X with?
Deftones.
Deftones, all right.
Ew.
Okay,
Really?
interesting. Well, okay. Yep. Well done. All right. So, Dave, your first new addition to your
Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper.
I know it's coming. He raises the dead man on this album. That's fucking cool.
All right. So now we're going to go through in rounds. So, Jeff, you get to add another one to your stable now. Who are you adding in addition?
If I know, I don't know. Give me a
oh
minute.
my God.
Just give me a minute.
Oh, okay. It's all good.
I'm gonna get there.
I've got comments to go through anyway.
Big comments.
What do you got? Mike, Vinny. Okay, speaking of renegade sheep and goats, you missed an interesting fact. Kiwis claim to keep renegade sheep from escaping. You got to replace the zipper on your jeans with Velcro. There we go. See what happens when you leave us to pad the space and we lean into Vinny to do it.
Hurry up, Jeff.
Wake up, Jeff.
This Aussie bloke's walking through a field in New Zealand and he sees a farmer fucking his sheep. He's like, "Hey, aren't you supposed to be shearing that sheep?" The farmer says, "I ain't shearing with no one. Get your own, motherfucker."
There you go, Vinny. There's one to add to your catalogue.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's cool. Now, I do want to stipulate, just remember, no one's lost anything from everyone's got their catalogues filled, but just to remember there are two catalogues you have to honour. One is that it's an Australian band, and the other one is that it has to be one with less than 5 releases. But no one's dropped any of those ones, so it doesn't matter. But just remember, you have to keep that one in the back of your head when we do these ones.
Hang on. Wasn't the one that Dave dropped an Aussie band?
No, Salem's Lot is like American.
Are they? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
He's kept envenomed, so that's his Aussie one is envenomed.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah.
Either way, I really hope Salem's Lot bring out new music.
I agree. It's just I understand why you did the drop though, because it's like they've been very quiet.
Yeah. They've resurfaced. He's around. He's alive, and he seems healthy. But I don't know. Maybe next year. But fuck. Yeah.
Even for me, looking at the Pretty Reckless, I'm like, if they don't start moving soon, I'm gonna have to make a call there because I love the band, but I'm not sure they're going to do anything this year. So we'll see what happens. But okay, Jeff, you have your next call. What are you taking on the next one?
Metallica.
What?
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm like a live album. It could be a live album, and they release videos all the time, so that's possible.
So
That's a good point. Yeah.
All right.
I wouldn't expect a new album for at least another 3
No, we
years.
won't get a new album.
Live
It won't be a new album. But it might
Live album, yeah.
Within the next, maybe not this year, but next year there'll be a live album because
off the back of touring of 42 seasons.
Yeah.
72 seasons. Yeah, definitely.
72
seasons.
Yes.
Yeah, 18 years, 72.
So, Dave, are you going to take Ghost at last, or are you going to leave him behind?
Oh, fuck! I get back points, don't I?
Yeah, whatever they've done this year, you can take. Yeah. So.
I want to take Elstorm because of pirate shit, but I'll go Ghost. Got to.
All right.
Yeah, they're my band. So yeah.
Cool.
Andrew, how many more times have you scheduled
we'll
out
work
that
out
we'll do
it's
this?
just going to be randomly interspersed, roughly maybe 4 to 6 times, I think, left to go this year.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a few. So we'll see how we go. You got a few chances yet, but I'll work that out better as we go along. But yeah, whenever we have like an off week, which is that bye week in the middle of a season, that kind of stuff, it's it's there. So that's what we do. Alrighty, Belle, you get to add one band to your staple now. So who are you going to add to your list?
I would like to add the Netherlands band. What are they called? Blackbriar.
Oh, okay.
So like a kind of gothic symphonic fairy tale, pretty young, I think, band. Yeah, they're very cool. So I think they're hopefully bringing out an album soon. Well, in a couple of months. They've released a couple of singles, so that's who I want. Blackbriar.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
So now I'm sort of caught twixt between because there's a few here that I'd like to take. A lot of them are sort of retrospective at this point in time too, because I know that they've got stuff out. So I'm like, do I just?
Well, that would be smart.
It would be, but at the same time, how smart is it considering all these things happen? But
once an album comes out, you can't.
Then how much are you gonna? How much do you really think you're gonna get more out of them in the year, kind of a thing?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a bit of a trickier one. So I'm like, because even bands on my list is like, ooh, which one are you going to go with? But I'm going to take. I'm going to take one that, while it may not net me a whole lot of points, it's one that I want to have on my list anyway, just for the sake of argument, because I just genuinely enjoy the band. That's where I'm going with this one. Where was it? That's it, Mammoth. I'm going to take Mammoth off the board and add it to my list. So not WVH anymore, but just Mammoth. So he's just released the new album. So I don't know how much more we'll get out of him in the year, but I do love his work. So I just want to have
probably get some videos, maybe.
Yeah, I want to have him on the collection just to see how we go. And Vinny's laughing at the joke that Dave put forward there as well. So there we go. All righty. One last piece of order before we get to Pumpkin and Clock. But just to quickly recap here, we know the score on that. So just to quickly recap, there's been some drops for the first time so far. So what do we got to go back up here? So Jeff has dropped Symphony X and opted to put in Deftones and then added Metallica to his list. Dave has dropped Salem's Lot and added Alice Cooper and Ghost. Belle and I didn't drop anything. Belle just added Blackbriar, and I have added Mammoth WVH to my list there.
So good pick. It's just Mammoth now too, if you noticed.
Yeah, I know. I did mention that before. It's just Mammoth. So yeah, but I did want to just keep that as something that people probably still know about for now. But yeah, just Mammoth, formerly known as Mammoth WVH. There you go. So that is our lists as we go through, which means one final bit of order before we get to the Pumpkin and Clock part of the show, which is choosing the albums for the next season of King of the Riff. Now, I'm going to randomize the draw here to start with. So, Belle, get your thinking cap on because you're going to go first on this one.
Okay.
Then we'll have. Then I'll go next, and this will be the same cycle for all the rounds, just to keep it fair. Dave next, then Jeff will go fourth on the 2 rounds we have to choose from. All right. So the way it's going to work here is, remember that we have a list I put through in Discord earlier tonight of albums chosen by the audience. The top 2 seeds that are going to go through regardless, so we're going to pick 8 albums between the 4 of us, is AC/DC Highway to Hell and Audio Rain the Perfect Sea. They are the 1 and 2 seeds in this one.
Nice.
It's a very, very cool outcome for an Aussie band to be that high in the audience poll. They were the top 2 audience choices. We already pulled out Back in Black because we've just done that one. We're not doing it again.
Yeah, too much of the same thing.
So we're not doing. I didn't think anyone was going to object to that. It's like, we're not doing it again. We just did it. So we're going to break it up. So those are the only 2 albums that are locked in. As we go through things, we can choose to. We have 2 votes each. We have to have one from the audience list that's there, but we can if we choose to, instead of doing 2 votes from the list, we can bring in one of our own that's not on the list, and you can choose one album to lock, because we all have the option to knock an album out that isn't locked in. So keep that in the back of your head. We do a knockout round as well, where we can recast a vote or make someone else choose their album, kind of a thing in that regard. Remember, there is that knockout clause in this one too. So you got to choose to lock it in if you really want it there. Otherwise, it can potentially get knocked out. But you got to tell us if you're locking it or choosing it. and go from there. We've done this before. Hopefully it all makes sense to you guys here with me tonight, because Belle, you're going to go first on this one. So you get first pick. Are you picking from the list, or are you going to go with your own?
I think I will start with the list that the viewers put forward.
Yep.
There were a lot of good albums on here, and a lot that I am somewhat ashamed to say that I haven't listened to. Yep. I've heard this, the hit singles of some of these, like a lot of them really. But it's kind of inspired me to venture. I've printed out the list, and so I'd like to kind of just sit and go through these. A lot of them are classics, absolute classics. But then there are some that are kind of some quirky ones, and I'm tempted to go with, I think, some of the ones Rowan put through, like I can never pronounce the fucking band name. Thank you. And even Toe Hider, but I don't know how well they do against some of these sort of classic monsters. So I'll appreciate them for what they are, but I am going to put forward a favorite Aussie band, and that is called Chisel's East.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So are you choosing to lock or leave it vulnerable?
I'll leave it vulnerable. I would like to lock my own pick.
Your personal choice. Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's all good. All right. I'm going to do one for Jody that was popular in the audience vote. So I'm going to take it from the list, but it's also because Jody's a massive fan of the band. So I'm going to just put Midnight Oil 10 to 1 into the collection there. So I'm going to leave it vulnerable. Hopefully you don't take it, but you can if you choose to. But I'm going to leave it vulnerable, but I'm going to put in Midnight Oil 10 to 1. I like the album personally, but also I know that Jody's a big fan, so I'm going to go with that one. Dave, you go next.
Sweet. Okay. Indulge me for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. I love Metallica. Obviously, you've been watching the show for a long time. Everything, like all 10 albums, I fucking love to bits.
Yeah.
In 2016, they released Hardwired to Self-Destruct, which I fucking love to bits.
Yep.
That was my number 2 album for the year when we did our top 10s. Andrew knows where I'm going with this motherfucker. Yep. Okay, there was an album that beat Metallica, and it shocked me. But this band is sadly no longer with us. I have the T-shirt behind me. I love this album to bits. I love this band to bits. This was my number 1 album for 2016. Let's go Tragic Hatred and Tolerance. Because if you haven't heard it, you need to. And I think this is a fucking great album. So that's my pick for local bands.
I was lucky.
Are you
to see
locking?
them play.
Yeah.
I'm locking it in.
You're locking it in? All right.
Yeah.
That's a lock.
I've seen that band 3 or 4 times. I'm fucking gutted that they called it a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fucking great album.
No, absolute monster. I completely agree. Alrighty. Jeff, you get to end the first round. So what are you picking?
Well, that's quite the list. And I don't really give a flying fuck. I'm taking it off the board. And you can lock this in. Toe Hider. I have little no memory of this.
Cool.
Yes.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's cool.
Thank you. Yes.
And you're locking it? That's your lock?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Right.
That's my
It's
lock.
in.
That's your lock. It is in. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Where
Nice
I
one,
failed
Jeff.
Rowan.
Fucking
Jeff
great
delivered.
All right. I will go through and do the play count thing that I usually do, and that's how I'll do the seeding later on. Just so everyone knows, seeding will be determined by the play count on Spotify, just to make it easy and fair all around. But that's how we're going to go through things. All right, Belle, you have one more choice to make, and you can lock this one, obviously. So which way are you leaning on this one?
All right. Well, this is not on the list, and that's okay. It surprised me somewhat, but I don't know. Either it's not a favorite or it was overlooked, or for whatever reason, doesn't matter. I'm throwing it in there. It is an old classic, and it is slightly outside our wheelhouse, but a lot of these are anyway. These older ones. I'm going with In Excess Kick.
Nice.
Yes.
From 87.
Thank you.
Great
Good
album.
pick.
Yeah.
Good
And you're
pick.
locking it? Are you locking it?
I'm absolutely locking it. Yes,
All
it
right.
needs to be in
That
Oh,
here.
album
this is going to be an
That's just a
interesting battle.
monster
Fucking hell
album.
already.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's going to be
Great
up there
pick.
in the play count
Great-
too. That's going to be
great pick.
way up there.
Yeah, I should hope so. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to make one addition here that Dreadful Tides we're going to remove from the list, even though it's in there, just for anyone thinking about choosing it, because I haven't got it on Spotify yet, so it's not readily accessible. So
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just want to say this is actually my all-time favorite Aussie release here, right here, but also not on Spotify.
Yeah, it's going to be available.
Otherwise, this would be my pick. Yeah.
There's a lot of bands that just dump their shit from fucking streaming, like
Yeah.
for one.
They could
like,
be earning a few pennies from, people would
something
play
is better
this.
than nothing. Don't give up on your legacy. Just leave it fucking be.
I get it too, man. I don't know why, but it happens that way. All right, cool. It's getting interesting now because now I'm not sure which way to go because it's like, which way do we go with this? I want to make it interesting, but also, I'm just like, bugger, because there's so many albums that we've done over the years, Dave, that can just sort of come to mind. And I usually try to shoehorn one of these in there. So if I go back through the eras of the show and think off the top of my head, because I didn't have a lot of time to pre-prep for this one. I was too busy doing other stuff, but I'm just thinking now, there's an album that comes to mind when I think back to the early days of the show that I know has some love out there, but I don't know how it'll go, but I want to put it in just to see what'll happen. So I'm going to put in Vulva Gun, Cold Moon Over Babylon.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm going to lock it. So it's an Aussie band that fuck all people know, but it's just one of those ones that I think, I don't know if everyone will like it, but I think more people need to hear about it. So it's just one of those ones that the band aren't really active anymore and that sort of stuff. It's like one of those ones that goes way, way, way back to the early days. It was the first in-house interview we did was with Wayne from the band, and he's a great bloke. So I figured, fuck it, I'm just going to throw this one in there and see how we all go with it. So that, as they say, is that for me, which means, Dave, you can't lock your next choice, but you do get to choose one that you have to take it from the list, though. That's the case.
Okay, yeah. There's one on the list that really stands out because I've shared a lot of personal stories throughout my time on this, but I've never. You know when people say, "What's the first album you bought with your own money?" Yeah. Now it's not money that I earned because it was pocket money that you get as a kid. Yeah. But I was a weird kid. I didn't pay attention. The 80s was a weird time. And 1987, something just struck me about this album. I thought it was fucking great. So I bought it. This was probably the first cassette, just before Appetite for Destruction. Wow. I can remember this. I was like 7 years old. So I am going to pick Icehouse Man of Colors.
Nice.
Ooh,
because I had that on cassette, and there was a couple of songs I really fucking loved. I would love to revisit that in the context of this. So this will be fun. Just old school versus new school. Just,
it's gonna be
young days versus old days.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
No,
it's got Electric Blue. It's got Crazy.
Even that title track. The title track is a great song.
Yeah.
Cool album.
Like they were a good fucking band. Yeah. So it'll be cool to like put them into our world and let's see what we can do with it.
Nice. All right, let's see how we go with it. Which means, Jeff, the last call before the final knockout choice goes to you. So what are you picking? Whatever you like if you want, but it can't be locked in.
No. There's a lot of really interesting choices left.
You can go off the list. You haven't taken one from not the list yet, so you do have that option in the back of your head as well. So
no, I'm all right. So the album that I want is still there, and I don't think anyone's touched it. So I'm gonna take it. I'll give you a hint. It won Album of the Year for this year that it was released, and it is Powderfinger with Vulture Street.
Okay, interesting. All right.
Cool.
No, cool. Well, we'll see what happens. Vulture Street. Okay, cool. No, it's all good. Well, we do have one order of business to go through now. And that is where we choose to knock something out, or we can sit and go through the same order again. And if your album gets knocked out, you can't have your album knocked out more than once, obviously. So we'll just go through the rounds and we'll work it as we go. But Belle, are you going to knock anything out, or are you content to leave it as it is?
Oh, fuck. That's tempting, isn't it?
Yeah.
After. But no, I'm not going to be mean. I'll leave everything alone.
All right. I'm happy to sit. I'm going to rest. So I'm good, which means Dave.
Yeah, I'm cool. Leave it as it is. This is interesting.
All right, cool. And Jeff, final word.
This is a good balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like things where they are. So
Like
we'll
it
see
is,
how
yep.
things go. Yep.
Yeah, cool. Because don't forget, we can revisit these themes as we want to go through things later on as well.
Yeah.
But it's, we can come back, but it's just like, this is why it makes it interesting for everyone, I think, because we're going to go, it's easy to go with the clearly cut popular choices across the board and the ones that everyone knows and the classics, but we've all gone and put our own little flavor on things and picked an interesting bunch. So just to quickly recap here, I'll go through some comments in a second, but the top 2 seeds, these are a lock. The top 2 seeds, because of the audience voted top 2, are, where have I put those fucking lists now? I've put it as AC/DC Highway to Hell and Audio Rain The Perfect Sea. So those are the top 2 seeds. They are going through, they get a bye in the first round of it all. Our choices, which will be seeded as per play count, are Cold Chisel East and In Excess Kick from Bell. I chose Midnight Oil 10-1 and Volvagun Cold Moon Over Babylon. Dave took Tragic Earth, Hatred and Tolerance and Icehouse Man of Colors. Jeff has Toe Hider, I Have Little to No Memory of These Memories, and Powderfinger Vulture Street. This is going to be a really, really interesting season. I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be different for
me
us.
too.
So, cool. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be nice. All right, let's go here. So Vinny has gone good choice, Belle, when you mentioned Cold Chisel. So there you go.
Which one?
A Cold Chisel. It was Cold Chisel.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, you're going to get love here because Man Family's gone in excess. Cool. So there we go. Good to see you, by the way, guys. Hopefully you're keeping well out there.
Oh, by the way, Man Family. When I was going through and collating all the choices, I'm sure they won't mind me saying because it's all public anyway. Yeah. They chose AC/DC, Let There Be Rock, and they put the rock emoji in it. Not like rock. I mean like the actual
rock.
It was hilarious. Let there be rock.
Nice. That's cool. Well played.
It made me laugh. So thank you, Man
That's
Family.
Awesome. Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
No, it's all good. A big thank you again to Belle for putting this list together because she went through all the comments for everyone. So a big thank you for that one. She saved me last minute today. Vinny's gone. Dave, a man after my heart. 2 thumbs up and a boner on that one. I'm going to assume that's to do with...
Scare me, man. Context.
I'm going to say Icehouse. Yeah.
I hope so. Or Tragic Earth.
I don't know.
I gave Vinny a boner tonight. Cheers, dude.
Either or. Well done.
We're not done here because Vinny said super strong with Powderfinger Jeff boner territory again. So Vinny's doing a.
I'm feeling left out. Andrew, how do you feel about not getting a boner from Vinny?
I'm okay with that. Okay.
I'm disturbed. So, like, boner privileges can go to the rest of you people.
I think Vinny's got enough to go around anyway as it plays out. Well, if you're feeling left out, I'm pretty sure there's probably enough.
So,
what can I do, Vinny? What can I do? Actually, no, don't answer
you really want to answer that question?
Careful what you wish for,
Didn't think it through.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Man Family's gone. Great selections all around. And yes, he's confirmed. Definitely Icehouse. So there we go. Thank you for the kind words.
Cheers, man. I dread to think what's coming.
Vinny's gone. Oh, no. 6. That's about where we are tonight.
Mile 6. Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. Speaking of, we got to get out of here. It's nearly pumpkin o'clock, so it's time to go. That is the end of the show tonight. Thank you very much. We'll go through a couple of bits of housekeeping, then go to our Raising a Glass section for the week. So make sure you catch it on television, 10:30 p.m. Saturday night, Channel 31 in Melbourne, and 10:30 p.m. Thursday night, Channel 44 Adelaide. We have gone and there's not one more sort of recap episode to go through, and then we've got a 2-hour presentation on naughty bands, and after that we've changed the format to revisit some of our backyard bangers and convert that into like a feature section on the TV broadcast as well. So we are repackaging and repurposing things for the TV side as well as what we do here in the live streams to make things all sort of work out together. So in the future you will see one, for example, on Binary Pulse coming up on TV as well. Next week, we have all the usual stuff going on there, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We have Two-Headed Dog for the Backyard Banger. We have, what did you call it, Belle? Sorry, I forget the band name. Yeah, Two-Headed Dog for Vinny there.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Your Global Groove.
Deathless Legacy.
Deathless Legacy, thank you. Not the boner, but yes, Deathless Legacy. But we'll see who gets
Deathless boner.
Yeah.
Last forever.
Oh, God.
Boner Legacy. Sounds
Belle, that's called children. So
oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah, well,
Boner Legacy sweet. What? I missed something.
It is. It's a sweet way of saying hello, my children.
Yes, it's an interesting way. It's sticky sweet.
Anyway,
Jeff has the game next week from memory and all the usual stuff. Just join in. But we're back with the first battle, which will be all Australian, and then we'll get back into the regular swing of things before we do a couple of weeks of that and another mid-year break coming up in a little bit coming up as well. What do we got here? Vinny's gone rename it Foreign Boner. That just sounds like foreign object, and I don't really want to go down that path with you, Vinny. So. Very
that old joke. I'm a sex object. Every time I ask women for sex, they object.
Here we go.
Well played. But you all know the drill. Just follow us on your preferred platform. There's, just go to thehardrockshow.com and you'll find all the links to us and our different platforms there. Usually the biggest ones now are YouTube and TikTok and obviously Patreon as well, if you'd be so kind to jump in, even on the free tier, just to keep up to date what we're doing as well. Cat's gone boners and cum punches. I've heard it all in the show. Yeah, you have in the last week. So, and Jim, good to see you still here. It's gone great show. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We have one more bit to get through tonight before we get out of here, which is raising a glass to things this week. So let's do the rounds here. Jeff, what are you raising a glass to this week?
Well, I'm raising my glass to that. It's something that I'm hoping happens. So my good buddy Jim, I'm hoping he gets out of the hospital soon, and I hope that everything is hunky dory with him. So yeah, that's what I'm raising a glass to, and I'm going to put a little bit of a juice in my cup and raise a drink to that. So Jim, get the fuck out of the hospital.
Yeah, to Jim, raise a glass to Jim. Get well soon, mate.
Get well.
Alrighty, let's go in the angles. Dave, what have you got for us this week?
All right. I'm raising my glass to the hottest porn site on the internet. Now, before the pervert get excited and the women judge me, I'm actually talking about a YouTube channel with a dude playing guitar. Okay, so calm the fuck down. Now, there's a lot of these YouTube channels with people showing the tablatures and everything. I wish they had this 20 years ago when I was learning. But fuck, there's a dude called Andy Dove. Now, if you haven't been on his channel and you're a guitar player, fuck me, this is one of the best sites I've ever been on, because everything from Thin Lizzy to Whitesnake to Dokken to fucking The Darkness, there is so much amazing content on this, and he plays it at full speed. And then, exactly, Belle, I am getting so moist checking this shit out. But the 50% slowed down tab with him playing as a slowed down video. Even if I was not a guitar player, just appreciating these bands that I grew up listening to, like Dokken and fucking Whitesnake and so many bands that I took for granted. Yeah. It's such a shame that all the genres that followed called these guys posers, because holy shit, the technical execution in these fucking performances is second to none.
Yep.
So, also, how would you compare what tab or tab books, I should be more specific to? I've heard bad things about what was released back then.
Yeah, like Metallica tab books.
You're getting now with this
there were so many great things on YouTube, but compared to what's available now, and just slowing this shit down, it's a newfound appreciation for what was so cool back then. And you don't really
gauge how accurate it is too, which is good.
Exactly, it's spot on note for note. You can learn so much from this. I wish I had more time to learn this shit, like Alice Cooper's Poison, that solo, holy fuck, man. Yeah. And Kiss Tears Are Falling, that solo, my God. And the riffs for these songs. And it's so pathetic that grunge, new metal, fucking emo, they called all these band posers. Who's the fucking poser? Like the guy with the spiky hair who can play properly? Or the cunt with the D-tune guitar playing one finger chords? Seriously. That shit back then was fucking brilliant. So I love this channel to bits, and I wish I had more time. So Andy Dove, and so many other YouTube tab things, raising the
Yeah.
glass because that shit's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Well done.
That's cool.
I'll pay that one. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Bill, when you're done drinking, you get to raise your glass again.
Look, I've had a very boring week, so I don't have anything, so I'm going to take inspiration from the segment that we just did and raise my glass to fucking so much brilliant Aussie music that's
Always
come out for the last, however many decades to now. So many albums that I love that I couldn't put forward because I only got 2, but fuck, there's a lot. There's so much, and even shit that's not on the list, and in my head and recent and otherwise. Yeah,
that's why we're here. That's why we do what we do.
That's why we do what we do. That's it. Well done.
Good job.
Good call, Bell. Drink to that. All right, mine is fun. I got a couple. One's fun and one's a bit more heartfelt. First is I'm going to raise a glass to Bell's Top Rammstein, fucking for the win. So there we go.
Hey!
So that's one there.
Nice.
I'll take one.
Thank you.
But on the more serious note here, it's going to be sounding weird, but it'll make sense. I'm going to raise a glass to the passage of time. I know normally we all try to fight the ravages of time and how it moves on, but I'm in a really unique phase watching our granddaughter grow up that she's just turned 5 months old. And so seeing the progression of the photos and meeting her and that and the time we have been able to spend with her, like watching that time move on and seeing this tiny little thing starting to genuinely, you visibly see the growth and the changes from month to month. And it's just like that passage of time. It goes way back to, like, everyone's done it before as a parent, but now as a grandparent, you get to do it again kind of thing. And it's like, this is like the fun part of the whole thing. So just going to raise a glass to the positives in the passage of time. It's not all negative. There are some genuinely beautiful parts of it. And I just want to raise a glass to that part of it there.
Aww.
So that's for mine.
Cheers.
Now, man, the best quote I heard in the last 10 years is, society works best when old men plant trees in which shade they will never sit.
That's it. And I completely agree with that. So that's
beautiful.
If you can't help them, at least get out of the way. That's my
out of the fucking way. Yeah.
If I can't help my kids and grandkids, then I'm just going to get out of the way. That's all it is. I'm not going to hold them back from their world. It's not mine anymore.
I knew that fucking 5 years ago. It's not my world.
That's it. That's how it works. Yeah. So that's how it always works. But anyway, that's us. Come to the show, get the drinks, get the stupidity, and get the deep and meaningful thoughts at the end of the night.
Get drunk and then fuck.
We hit drunk o'clock. But that will about do it for now. It is pumpkin o'clock, so we've got to get out of here. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. Jim, again, get well. He's gone great show, guys. So thank you again for the kind words.
Get well, Jim.
Hopefully,
buddy.
Doing this silliness has made your day or night a bit better where you are. But yeah, genuinely, get home soon. Hopefully, things improve for you, and hopefully you had a good time tonight with us here. But on behalf of us all, thank you all so much, team. We'll see you all very, very soon. A big thank you to Jeff on the other side of the screen, to me there. A big thank you to Belle in the opposite corner because we've done musical chairs this week. And a big thank you to Dave on the underside of the screen, to me there. Thank you all so much again for your work. As always, love you guys, and we'll all catch up again very, very soon. Until next week, same time and place. I'm Andrew. You all know what to do. As always, drink up.
Drink!
On, folks.
Rock.
Cheers.
See you
soon.
Drink,
rock, and fuck.
That'll do.
Speak.